All right, let's do this thing. There we go.
Okay.
I said first as usual. Skull says still beat John. And we are live. Welcome to Talking Heads, episode 97, your once weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news. I'm Jeff.
I'm John.
Welcome to the show, everybody. Glad you could join us this evening or this morning or
wherever you're from.
Wherever you happen to may be. Welcome to the show. If you are new to the show, this is our once weekly live show. We do latest in beer and tech news, as the intro so obviously pointed out. We do try to keep it as family friendly as possible, although we do drink adult beverages on the show. We try to keep the swearing pretty much at a zero and the content as family friendly as humanly possible.
Yep.
Slip-ups do happen, but just be aware that they might.
They might, and it's usually toward the end of the video.
Usually towards the end.
It's like second or third beer that's like, slip up. Oh, sorry.
Yep. So, yeah. For 90 minutes, you're going to be fine.
Yeah. Unless Rhett's on the show, then there's going to be these rants that just go on after like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, we do have rant counters whenever Rhett is on. Next week, coincidentally,
yes.
Rhett will be back on the show. Other than that, welcome to the show.
Let us know what you're drinking in chat. It does not have to be alcoholic beverage.
That's right.
Water, juice, soda, whatever is your cup of tea. Cup of tea!
Yeah. Actually, I don't think we've ever had tea on the show.
No, we have hot toddies. That's kind of a tea.
Yeah, it's cidery.
It's a cider.
Yeah.
That's the closest we...
Yeah, and that was just...
I mean, they have hard tea. I guess we could go get a hard tea.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had tea on the show. I've had coffee before.
Yeah.
I've had coffee for an episode. I've done cocktails, breakfast cocktails, dessert cocktails. We've done beers of every kind.
Next week on Craft Computing, Jeff and his Earl Grey tea.
That's right. Alcoholic Earl Grey tea.
That would taste horrible. Oh, you know what you could do? We should make an Earl Grey tea with the Captain's vodka.
Ooh, there you go. I like where your head's at right now. Ben, hello from Western Australia. I don't think we've ever had anyone from the west side chime in. We've had a lot from the east. But hello.
Hello.
How's it going? This fine early afternoon, if my math is correct. My really quick math. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let's see. Becky Poo, welcome. Jeff, want to tell my daughter to go to bed? Becky Poo's daughter, sorry, it's bedtime. I just put my kids down myself. So, time for all children to go to bed.
I mean, mine doesn't go to bed.
As much as I don't want you to, it's just time. I'm sorry. If it were my choice, you'd be staying up.
Yeah.
But sorry, you got to do it.
Night.
All right, what else we got
triple
here?
IPA.
Surly Brewing.
Ooh.
3DH triple IPA.
What's
very
the ABV
nice.
on that skull?
Yeah, that's what I'm curious.
Oh, it's skull. Okay.
Yeah, it's skull. It's. I didn't even read the name. He said Surly Brewing, and I went, what's Skull drinking tonight? Let's see. We got a Doug's drinking a Guinness Extra Stout. Very nice.
Cosmic Sour by Sam Adams. Nice.
Yep. And Nick says he's never able to join us live, but finally he's working with college's help desk and is able to catch it tonight. So thank you so much for joining us. 11:15, an hour behind. I was so close. 11:05.
10%.
Darn close for not knowing your exact time zone, though. I'm gonna call that a win.
That's pretty good. Yeah,
So,
especially that fast.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Cosmic Sour by Sam Adams. I have not had that one.
I've never had that one
Yeah.
either.
And hello from Brazil. Skull says 10%. Steve says bathwater. Gamer bathwater?
Steve, don't talk about your beer that way.
Well, I'll be the judge of that tonight, won't I?
Yes, you will.
All right.
For what we'll be drinking tonight. Well,
Speaking of bathwater, John, why don't you introduce the beers?
It's not my ESB. All right. I'll admit that one came out bad. I was trying for something and it just didn't turn out.
That's right.
But last week, if any of you watched, Steve brought his homebrew, a pineapple homebrew. Ooh,
That's Skull's.
that looks delicious.
That's the Surly, yeah.
And seemed to be a pretty decent hit.
Yeah.
If anyone watched my channel the week before that, I had Jeff and Steve over for a kind of stout competition where I threw my stout in there, and they guessed it right off the bat. So I kind of wanted to do that again with my beer. I had this one fermenting another week while they're doing that. I was
hoping you were going to touch just one.
A mango IPA. Now, I went to the bottle shop and bought another mango IPA at the exact same percentage.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to see if Jeff can pick out which one is which.
I can hardly wait.
Yes. I will let you pick which one. Now, then Jeff also brought, what did you bring? Since it's mango themed.
This is Confluence Brewing Company, Copperidge Mango Dodger. I didn't know John was bringing any mangoes. He didn't tell me what he was bringing to this point. But he goes, I have my mango IPA, which I knew he brewed. And then he goes, I brought another mango from the bottle shop. And I went, I have a mango. Cooperage Mango Dodger. It's a rye barrel aged double IPA with mango added. It is aged 3 months in rye barrels, 10.7%. So this is going to be our nightcap.
Yeah, that'll be the end. At the end, that'll probably win.
I've been wanting to open this one for so long. I'm pretty sure Skull sent this one over.
Skull's already talking about it.
I'm fairly certain Skull sent this one. Yeah. Yes, he did. Yep. It's not as much as that Mango Dodger. You're probably going to want to drink a few glasses of water before you drive home. At 10.7%, yeah, John might be staying until 11 or midnight tonight.
Yeah, that's fine. So
we're good.
Which one do you want to try? I'm excited.
Let's go with this one.
Okay, so then I'm going to put the other one in the fridge.
Okay.
So it stays equally cold.
Equal temp. Got it.
Temp.
And I will get some glasses out.
Sounds good. Okay. I'm excited.
So yeah, again, John knows what's in these two growlers. I am going in blind taste test. All I know is John brewed a mango IPA, and he also purchased a mango IPA.
Yes, and Jeff's had quite a few of my homebrew, and there's been quite a few stories of my homebrew on this channel.
I wasn't even going to bring that up. I wasn't even thinking strawberry ale tonight.
No, you're probably thinking ESB.
This time I was thinking ESB. That is true.
Okay.
Even our Discord members didn't see the meme that I posted.
It's still funny.
It was a good one.
All right.
It was family friendly. Lego was involved.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So, what is the ABV on these? Because you said the ABV match.
Yeah, they're 7%.
7%. Okay.
7%.
Okay. Yeah, that's the other cool thing is he managed to find a mango on draft that was the same exact ABV.
Yeah, that was actually very odd because it was really all I found were malt liquor mangoes, and they were 9-10%. Oh, this is gonna be. I can't even do that.
Yeah. Very mango-y, with just a little bit of hop. Ooh.
And I've had actually both before. I've had the other mango one before.
It's not bad.
John Brown. Yeah, I know. Everyone wants German chocolate cake now.
Hold on. There's this real rich middle, like a molassesy brown sugar to this one. That's really delicious.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the citrus stays with you the whole time, but it richens up as you're drinking it right in the middle of the body of it.
Yeah.
That is super good.
Both of them are you can classify them as juicy IPAs.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
So they're not going to be very hop heavy.
Right.
You know, obviously more.
You definitely have some hops on there.
Yeah, there's hops in it, but you know, most juicy IPAs are more tropical flavors.
All right.
So, what do you think this would cost you as a pint? At something this quality at a brewery.
Honestly, I'm thinking a little bit lower cost. I would guess about $4.50.
Okay, $4.50.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'd probably give it a little more. At 7%, usually they're about $5-6.
Okay.
$5-6.
Yeah, at 7%, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but.
Oh, sorry. What I would pay at your bar?
What you'd pay at my bar was nothing.
Okay.
You would just go behind there and be like, Hey guys, welcome to Craft Computing. I got a free beer. That's what he did.
John, I'm pouring myself a 12%.
Yeah. He did that.
A lot.
A lot. And was like, oh, I gotta do some B-roll, extra B-roll. I'm gonna need another
Damn,
beer.
I drank that one too fast.
So we're thinking $5-6 for a pint of beer.
Yeah.
Would you pay $67,000 for a pint of beer?
Boy, that depends which beer. It really depends.
So there was an Australian beer journalist who got charged $67,689 for 1 pint of beer.
1 pint. 1 pint and 1 pint alone.
Yeah.
So he's written about beer for about the last 25 years. He's a pretty well-known beer journalist down in Australia. And he was just checked into his hotel. Went to the hotel bar. Give me a pint. I'm heading to bed, gents. You know,
wasn't even doing his job.
Right.
It was just like, I want my night beer.
Yep. He just went. I just want a nightcap, and bought the beer and whatnot. The waitress went over and ran his card and came back and he's signing it. And he goes, whoa, hold on. How much did this cost? And I guess the waitress picks up the receipt and she just starts laughing.
Yeah.
Like she's just in like shock. Like, okay, hold on just a minute. And she runs back to the manager, and the manager has a much more stern look on his face. Because we just charged a man about 10,000 times what we were supposed to.
Oh, yeah, and it already went through.
Yeah, it already went through. So this transaction actually did went through, and it raised a lot more questions than it did answers. Number one, why did the bank allow such an extraneous charge to go through from a hotel bar, let alone a large charge with no phone call at all? Yeah. Because
most large charge were like, was this you?
Right.
You know, credit card fraud.
I get charged for swiping $2,000.
Oh yeah, no, I get a phone call for like $5. If I do even like $300 in 3 different locations,
right?
They'll call me like, what are you doing?
Right.
You know, is this you?
Yeah. Yeah, I have out-of-state flags, I have single swipe flags, and I think I have single-day flags. Yeah. Where if I go to IKEA and then Walmart and then Costco on the way home or something like that, I'll get a phone call at Costco. Yeah. Like immediately after the third swipe. This guy somehow got away with a $67,689 swipe at a hotel bar.
I really wonder what that... Did it mention the beer?
Yep.
I don't remember what beer. I don't think it said the exact beer, though.
Yeah.
But obviously this all got fixed and turned around, but still.
I don't think it got fixed yet. His bank said it could take up to 10 days to reverse the charge.
Well, this was the 6th, so...
This is only the 11th.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as I know, this is still outstanding.
Oh.
Yeah.
I should follow this.
He's waiting on his refund.
Yeah.
There you go. Yep. I am not a wealthy man. I could buy my car 10 times over with that amount. As could I, good sir.
Yes.
So
yeah, the world's most expensive pint of beer was probably just a cheap little lager.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So keep an eye on your receipt and keep an eye on your tab even closer.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah. Whenever you go to a place and they ask, "Do you want your receipt?" Try to always say yes. I always do. Because you just never know.
Yep. Yep.
There have been plenty of times, even locally, where it was, I got charged twice for something.
I've had that happen a couple of times.
You know, and it's just like, I want to see my receipt. As I'm walking out, scanning it, it's like, whoa. I only got 1 box of beer. Yeah. I drink a lot, but I only got 1 box of beer.
I'm only paying for the single sample pack.
That's right.
At $37. Okay.
Hey, I already bought it. Other than the mango one I bought was a $22 bottle of beer. So I bought 3 beers and it was like $40.
The last time I hit the bottle shop was down at Capital Market in Salem. I left with 4 beers. I spent $67.
Yeah.
4 beers.
Sounds about right.
4 beers. 4 bottles.
That sounds like Steve's Tavor receipt just now.
Yeah. Yeah, we got a sneak peek of what Steve's bringing to the show later on. So speaking of bludgeoning your enemies to death and drinking their bones.
Drinking from the skulls of your enemy.
Right. Doom has... hit refresh on the page because for some reason the images aren't loading. I had an issue with my DNS server earlier today. There we go.
There we go. That'll start.
Maybe.
Come on.
Either that or it'll autoplay a video and we'll
big
all
money,
be screwed.
big money, big
Yep.
money.
Big money, no money.
It's a video.
Stop. So anyway, Doom has an all-new vodka coming out. And boy,
There we go.
I need to try this.
Oh gosh, I so want to try this.
I need to try this. So it is called the Doom Bone Vodka, and it is a collaboration between id Software, or Bethesda Software, Bethesda Softworks, or whatever the heck they're called anymore, and Rebel Distillers. It's called Bone Vodka because it's actually made from bone. So basically, they partnered with a local butcher who is taking pig bone, as I understand it, and drying it out and grinding it up, and then taking the marrow and adding that to the distillate of whatever vodkas they're producing, and they're aging it with the bones.
Oh, I want to try this so much.
I totally want to try this.
They didn't release a price.
Right.
And I'm betting it's going to be $70-$80.
It's probably going to be a spendy.
It's probably going to be a spendy one.
Yeah. My problem is with a lot of these special release liquors that have kind of become popular in the last 10 or so years. They tend to not be highly aged liquors.
That's true.
They're young spirits. I had the same... Actually, I got really lucky with the 10 Forward vodka. That's a delicious vodka for $30.
Well, the 10 Forward vodka is really good. And even the Kirk whiskey.
Yeah, the James T. Kirk. That's a 12-year bourbon.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah, that was a 12-year age.
Oh.
But there's been a couple spirits, namely like the Fallout 76 rum that was supposed to be like a special edition rum.
Oh, yeah. Did you ever have the Metallica whiskey I had?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, see, that didn't taste
That was super young.
Yeah, that was so young. It tasted like 8 months old.
Yeah. It was a whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really want to get my hands on that Pabst whiskey. Aged for, what, 1 minute, 4 seconds or something like that?
Yeah. The time it takes to roll over the stave.
Yeah. It was, let's just pour it, fills it up, and then drain it. That was all it was.
I think they just left the bung out of the bottom of the barrel, and so they're literally just pouring it in and siphoning it out the bottom.
Probably.
Yeah. So, it's barrel-aged.
Barrel-aged.
Yeah.
But I wanted to try it just
about as long as I've been aged in a barrel.
It's the highest Pabst you'll ever have.
That's true. That's totally true. Didn't it say beef bone? I couldn't remember if it was beef or pork. I couldn't remember which type of bone it was. It was one of the two.
Yeah.
But some kind of animal bone.
Yes.
That they are taking the marrow and then adding it to the distillate and then distilling it once further after aging. So, yeah, it's...
This is the ginger pig.
Yep.
Oh, no, actually made from bones provided by... Okay, it just says the ginger pig is the company name.
Yeah.
Is the butcher, so maybe that's where you
That's where I got confused.
Yeah.
Okay. Ginger pig is grinding up beef bone to add to vodka. Yeah. Okay. Now we're all clear.
Now we're all clear.
So I could have swore there was pig somewhere in the article. Okay. Well, close enough.
Yeah.
I would say.
Well, there's some sad news. You seem to... What, you got something on your mind?
Just thinking.
Just thinking?
Just thinking.
Trying to figure it out?
Just thinking. I will say, go back and watch the video after this is on replay.
Okay.
Right before we went into the news, I raised my finger on my mouse because I had a point I wanted to make about like 2 minutes earlier, like right after we opened the beer, but I didn't want to say anything because I don't want to give away anything to you this early on about this particular beer.
Okay.
Okay. But you'll notice I did this on purpose and I kind of wiggled my finger right before we started.
Okay.
I want to bring attention to that because I already nailed it. And I nailed it for one particular reason I don't think you're going to guess. Actually, I had it nailed before we... No, I won't get into that. I won't get into that. I won't get into that. That's another way.
Okay.
I have 2 ways you're already dead to rights.
Okay. That's fine.
America is running out of White Claw.
Oh no! The Instagram girls are going to go insane now. What are they going to drink?
Hipster beards are literally falling out as we speak. Actually, there is a nationwide shortage of White Claw.
Yeah.
Just 8 months after it hit it big.
Oh, yeah.
And in fact, in the month of July, White Claw is claiming they outsold Budweiser in the continental United States.
Yeah, 200%. Over Budweiser.
Right.
It's huge.
Not only outsold them, obliterated them in sales.
No, and I believe it too.
Yeah.
Because it just sparked this huge, hard seltzer water crave. And there's a lot of hard seltzer waters, but I think because of the big social media presence that White Claw kind of got made fun of, and like everyone wanted to go try it. We tried it.
That's certainly why I picked one.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
what the hell is White Claw? I gotta try it.
Yeah. And there are other hard seltzers out there, but because everyone was making fun of it, all the beer drinkers were making fun of it, they all picked one up. Then everyone else that wanted to drink it was already drinking it. So it was kind of like, it's not bad.
The claw is done, the law must return. Why is Jeff from Crafty Computing screaming? Sorry.
I was the one going loud. Oh, whatever.
I yelled. I said, we're running out of White Claw.
Yeah.
So I did yell, but whatever. Sorry, headphone users. Hard seltzer water, I hate people. I actually do drink seltzer water.
Oh,
straight up seltzer.
Yeah, I have I went and carbonated some 5 gallons of just plain water, and usually what I'll do, have that, and then I splash a little bit of like lime or lemon juice in it, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's a great drink.
Totally.
Or even just like my son's whatever juice he has there, I'll take an ounce or two of it and put it in a pint glass, and then 15 ounces, 16 ounces, or 14 ounces of just carbonated water.
Yep.
And it's fantastic.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it is actually an issue when a company grows too large and can sell out their back stock too quickly. That can be an issue that a company actually doesn't recover from, because if your market gets used to not buying White Claw for a month while you're replenishing your stock, they may just stop buying White Claw.
They're saying that October, I think it's October, November, or September, October.
Yeah.
It's basically 2 months.
Yeah.
They're going to be short. The nation will be short of White Claw for 2 months straight.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you won't be able to find it, but the stores won't get restocked.
Right.
That's really what it's going to be. The stores will not get restocked. Now, there are other seltzer waters that are out there, and they might pick up during those 2 months. Honestly, if I was one of those competing companies, that's when I would push all of our advertisement. I would invest in something like that. I saw that. I saw one of those, and I couldn't. I saw an advertisement for it, but I didn't find it to buy.
So apparently, Becky from my Discord is drinking a Natty Light seltzer, the Aloha Beaches Natty Light seltzer. I have not seen one in the wild yet, so Becky, you are the first.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I heard about them, just haven't seen them.
Yeah, I haven't seen them on store shelves yet. Otherwise, I was probably going to pick one up. Because you never know. You never know what filth John is going to dig out of his cellar.
What? I still have a natty... what was that strawberry one? Natter Day.
The Natter Day?
The Natter Day. I still have a can of that.
Oh, good lord.
I still have a can of one of those Budweiser Reserves. Mm-hmm. Still have that.
The Copper Lager Reserves? Yeah. Yep. Oh boy. Can hardly wait.
We can have a plethora of all the bad stuff throughout the ages.
You should cellar that for 3 years. And then we'll try it again.
3 years? Why 3 years?
Because at that point, you'll have forgotten about it, and I probably won't be doing this anymore.
No, I have old beer, Jeff. I have old beer. I'll remember.
No, I'm kidding. This is going to go on for quite some time.
Yes.
And I'm probably going to have to drink that.
Yes, he will. I can bring over the Henry Weinhardts from the 70s.
You know, I would actually probably try that one.
Yeah, I can even recarbonate it.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad.
That'd probably be pretty solid. I'd try it.
Yeah.
I'd try that one.
I should do that, and I can bring a regular Henry Weinhardts, and you can try it.
That's right. All right. 24 minutes in. You can mark end of beer news, start of tech talk. I'm just going to start saying that from now on.
He's going to start verbally timestamping.
24 minutes in. Start of tech talk. The beer talk is over. So, John, are you a fan of smart devices? Do you have any smart devices in your house?
I don't. I don't. I'm not a huge fan.
Oh, I know of one. You have your doorbell.
Yes, I do have my doorbell.
You have a doorbell
I
cam.
I have a smart doorbell.
Yep.
Yes. Other than that, though, I don't have...
I know that because I like to make lewd gestures at it when I come over.
Yeah, you constantly seem to... I look up at 3 a.m. I'm like, why is Jeff outside my house?
He's kind of squatting over my welcome.
Yeah. Jeff and Steve are drunk again. Great.
Yeah. We walked there. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. So, I'm the same way. I don't have really any smart devices in my house. I have Wi-Fi everywhere.
Yeah.
But I've thought about doing some smart home-based stuff, but I really want to roll my own smart home system. And when we either purchase/build a home, we might be doing a quick video series on rolling your own smart home, because I kind of want to do that myself. Build my own system,
internally,
HVAC controls and security cameras and Wi-Fi
Yeah.
and smart lights and a control center from your fridge and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I want the home of the future,
Even
but I
smart
don't.
mirrors.
But I don't want the home of the cloud connected future. I want the smart home that's internal.
Yes.
Smart home. So
I control everything.
yeah. So that's my goal. As soon as I buy another house, that'll probably be a project that crops up because it'll be something that I'm working on. But smart ovens.
What?
I have a right. I have a hard time understanding the concept of a smart oven. The concept of anywhere beyond, I'm going to be home in 5 minutes, let's start the preheat now. I can wait another 5 minutes. I'm never that looking forward to a Papa Murphy's pizza that I have to start the smart oven 10 minutes before I get home.
Well, no,
or
because
schedule
I can
it
preheat the oven, start a beer, pop it in. By the time I'm done with my first beer, my pizza's done. I can have a second beer.
Well, that's true, but you're walking to the kitchen anyway to get your first beer.
Well, yeah, but that's when I hit preheat.
Right.
Yeah, so why?
But why would you do that from your phone and not from the oven that you're standing next
No,
to?
that's what I was saying. I'm agreeing with you.
Okay.
Yes, I'm agreeing with you.
I thought you were saying counter.
No.
Okay.
No. I
Gotcha.
agree with you.
Gotcha.
And I'm saying why it's better than smart. Because I can go have 2 beers.
That's right. Okay, we're on the same wavelength now. I gotcha. Anyway, apparently there's a smart oven that was not listening to users and in fact was starting to preheat itself overnight. Was randomly turning on and preheating itself to 350 or 400 degrees at like 4 a.m.
Oh yeah, that's totally safe.
Totally safe to, just randomly turn on and start going to 400 degrees in the middle of the night. But apparently the June oven did exactly that. And a lot of the users are not happy about it, quite obviously, and the company is actually rather embarrassed about it. They have gone as far as acknowledging the problem.
That's good.
In a statement, they said June PR has reached out to offer the following statement, and I quote, "Safety of our product is June's #1 priority. The company took a number of precautions in the production of the June oven. Excuse me. We have worked directly and quickly with a few June owners who have experienced accidental preheat. These instances are concerning for sure, and we have a team of engineers working to ensure this doesn't happen in the future. We have had ovens deployed in the market for over 4 years now and have a large, passionate community. A passionate community for smart ovenry."
Oh yeah, that's exactly. Well, I mean, I can see the appeal. The fact of like saying I have a particular meal, and if you cooked it at these variant temperatures or had maybe airflow, I don't know how this particular oven works. Maybe it has dry heat fans or what are those deep frying type air fryers. Built into it, to where you can do a combination of that. And so there's different recipes that say, hey, if I put my macaroni and cheese, it's 10 minutes of air frying plus 10 minutes of preheat at 350.
And I could totally see a programmable oven.
Yeah. Where it's, then that could be smart. And I say, here's my recipe.
Right.
Or pulled it from the cloud.
But to me, the idea of just controlling an oven from my smartphone, I can see uploading a program from my smartphone. Hey, I've got a new recipe, or I want to tweak some settings or something like that. But simply controlling it from my smartphone, I just don't see the appeal of. And maybe I'm weird. Maybe I'm not millennial enough. But it's just never crossed my mind. Anyway, they said, we have had ovens deployed in the market for over 4 years now and have had a large, passionate community. The best case scenario is hearing from customers in real time, like June does, to address any issues as they arise, end quote. So, yeah, if you have a June oven, be on the lookout for a firmware update for your oven to make sure it doesn't burn your house down.
I wonder if the first person to see it thought it was, like, possessed. Just like walks into his kitchen late at night and all he sees is this glowing oven. Boom.
What is the quote? Anything that
can go wrong will go wrong.
No, that's Murphy's Law. There's some kind of quote that any time that technology disappears and the user simply gets to experience it, it's indistinguishable from magic.
Oh, okay.
And so if your oven just suddenly turns on in the middle of the night and preheats to 400 degrees and is trying to burn your house down, there's probably a demon or magical beast, possessing your oven. Certainly would have crossed my mind.
Oh yeah. Also, it's a $600
toaster oven.
Who pays $600 for a toaster oven?
Yeah, scroll back up to the picture. Let's look at this thing. $600.
This is it. Well, because so it looks like it has air vents. That's why I thought it might have the air fryers.
Right. So it does have the air vents, which is nice. You get some circulation along with your element heat.
I'm sure there's like good airflow and good heat, but it looks like the LED or the screen changes.
Right.
So it looks like you might have some buttons.
You have a smart screen with touch controls on it, which is fantastic, I guess. But at the same time, my toaster oven cost me about $60 12 years ago from Walmart, and it's still kicking.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't turn on in the middle of the night.
Well, too. Also, I'm betting most toaster ovens too. If you don't clean them, are greasy. So that touch screen is just grease all, and you're just having to smear it and clean it and push on it.
It has Asus Arasync. Not to pick on Asus. There's plenty of companies which probably have RGB integration with this thing. They're working on the green and the blue. Right now, the red works perfectly.
Oh, who put that link? That's not me. That's you.
That's me.
That's a horrible link.
It might have been the mobile site.
It looks like it.
So click on it. See if there's an M there. No, it's
not.
Standard site.
That's horrible.
Okay.
There we go. Okay, we'll be fine.
Yeah. Okay. So you've got a Nintendo Switch. I've got a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
There's supposedly a new peripheral which has been kind of leaked through some patent documents, and it's for a new version of the Switch JoyCon.
Yes.
Right. So we all know the JoyCons. Are mine around here somewhere?
Yeah, it's on your remote right there, right next to your mixer.
Yeah. So we all know the Switch JoyCons. The little guys look about like that.
They say, "Take one off." There's a button.
There's a button on the back.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
And I play Mario Kart.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I need to hold it like this.
Yeah.
With the joystick in the center, which makes no sense.
We gotta be like all in the commercial with the bar. Oh, ha 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 ha! You got me.
Yeah. It's a completely different show when we do it. Anyway, so supposedly there's a new version of the Joy-Con that's been leaked through some patent documents, and it's a Bendy JoyCon. Specifically, the analog stick on the left controller and the button section on the right controller will bend down ever so slightly to give a little bit more ergonomic feel to the Switch.
Which is kind of cool. It feels more like feel more like a flight stick.
Yeah,
simulator.
A little bit more, get your thumbs angled up a little bit more.
And I could see it as straight, so if I'm holding it like this, my thumbs aren't all the way back. They're a little more forward.
Right.
And that's not bad.
Yeah.
And I could see it being more friendly for a flight simulator or something that feels like a fighter jet pilot. Mm-hmm. I'm curious of how fast they'll break if they actually did come up with this.
Right. Yeah. It looks like an interesting enough concept. I know Nintendo, for as inventive as they are in their control schemes, they're never the most ergonomic thing in the world. Even with the halfway, this is their just controller dock, I guess you call it. This is just the one that it's dumb and the controllers just snap into it. This is not the most comfortable thing in the world.
It's just a little too small.
Yeah. The joystick placement is odd. I've always thought that about the Switch. It's just weird.
Yeah.
It's just weird. So adding some ergonomic grips could certainly be a benefit. I can certainly see something, this helping some people. Although I'm trying to picture how my hands would fit on there. And now your thumbs are not going to be there. They're going to be pressed a little bit more forward. I don't know how well that's going to work because now I'm going flat top instead of, I've got this thing going on instead of this thing going on. So I don't know.
Don't know, but I'm also curious of, how you would snap that if you're playing two-player Mario Kart. Oh, crap. Oh, that snap,
Right.
Because I know a lot of people get aggressive as we were demonstrating.
Right.
Would that snap? Would that do something? Would that easily break off? Obviously, you can see there's some part of it that still holds the snappy part. The sensor seems to be holding on to the Switch still.
Someone says the only good controller they've ever made is the GameCube controller.
No.
And then someone right below them says the Pro controller is a thing of beauty. I will agree the GameCube controller is one of the best controllers ever made.
Really?
Just from an ergonomic standpoint.
No,
everything just kind of falls where you want.
I've always loved the Super Nintendo. Super Nintendo's always been... I love that controller.
You simpleton. This just fits in my hand, and everything goes exactly where it should. The C button's maybe a little further down than I want, but it's in a place that I'm not going to hit it with the other buttons.
Well, the thing is, though, there's a reason why the Nintendo keeps coming out with every new system. Buy classic controllers to go with it.
Right.
You know, they came out with Switch. Now buy 3 Pro, classic, individual type controllers. You want to play the GameCube games with an actual GameCube controller, but it's meant for the Switch? And they keep coming out with stuff like that.
Right. Well, there's a reason they...
Yeah. They're Nintendo.
They make a lot of money.
Yeah.
They make a lot of money. There was some kind of article, I think we might have talked about this like a year and a half ago, something like that, about how Nintendo could make not a single dollar for the next 110 years, and they would still be in business.
Oh.
If they continued on with their spending with inflation for the next 110 years. They can run their company for 110 years without ever making a single dollar, and they would still be in business. to tell you how much money they have.
Yeah.
They're kind of like Apple in that regard, where Apple could just literally not do anything, and they would still be in business 110 years from now. So,
the N64 controller, that sucked.
Yes, that was pretty terrible.
That was a horrible controller.
The Wii controller had its moments, but at the same time, the flipping it sideways and trying to use that for like Mario Brothers and whatnot.
Yeah.
With just the 2 buttons, and the 2 buttons were kind of in the center of the controller, so I'm holding the controller like this.
You're stretching your thumb really far.
Right.
Yeah.
And so their modern controllers have not been anywhere close to ergonomic. I will say the SNES weren't terrible, and they were certainly better than the rectangular NES controllers. Yeah. But it's still not the most ergonomic thing in the world, especially for some of the games, because hitting 2 buttons at the same time was a little bit of a pain for the SNES. They were spaced apart, and they weren't at the right angle that you would hold it at to be able to just rock a thumb.
Well, actually, I think probably the most classic controller now that's been used is probably the PS controller. It's probably the PS2.
Yes.
The PS2 is probably the most universal. Oh, okay, everyone's stolen that design, ripped that design off.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I fully agree with that, because that kind of invented the modern control scheme. Yeah, I mean, even this, with as weird as it looks, it has the buttons in the same spot.
Yeah,
as the PlayStation controller. So, yeah, it's kind of a it's all preference, but I agree. All right, we talked about this a little bit last week, and we talked about, does this actually matter, and what are the ramifications from this, and is this actually as big of a deal as people are starting to make of it? And that is the AMD 3000 series Aegisa code updates that are apparently borking system performance in favor of longevity of your CPU, and AMD's trying to kill their CPUs by clocking them too high just so they can beat Intel, and now they're pulling it back now that the reviewers have had their chance to... No. Guys, calm down.
Yeah.
Calm down. It was... the Aegisa code updates that AMD issued were lowering the boost clock speeds by between 25 and 50 megahertz on their max boost. Not their all-core boost, their max single-core turbo boost. So my Ryzen 7 3700X, instead of hitting 4.4, was hitting 4.375 on two cores. So I lost 25 megahertz at the top speed of the top 2 cores.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I was at a 4.25 all-core boost.
And you were like, yes! Thank you!
Right. And so people are going, well, they're going to have to put stickers on all the boxes now, and this is false advertising, and bring me my class action lawsuit paperwork. And calm down.
Yeah.
It's been 7 weeks since release. Let's just all take a big breath. And the quote was from an unidentified, was it an Asus engineer who was posting from his personal Reddit account on what his opinion was on why this is happening. to the point that AMD had to make a statement that said we recognize that the boosts aren't reaching as high as we advertised, and
wasn't it only certain processors too?
It was only certain processors, and it wasn't all the time.
Yeah.
Der Bauer at this point famously did a survey where only 7.5 or 8% of CPUs were hitting their max boost, and I even called into question the legitimacy of that survey. Again, no disrespect to Der Bauer. Roman's a great guy. And does fantastic work and fantastic benchmark work, but whenever you push off a benchmark to an end user, I always question the legitimacy of that report, because do they know what they're looking at? Do they know the numbers?
Yeah.
Or are they just going to go, well, yeah, my AMD processor's not hitting the max boost clock, and they're on an i5 4560. So it's one of those things where you can put things out to the public to answer, but you need to take the public's answer with a grain of salt, and that's simply what I was presenting my point as last week. But AMD did announce that there is a problem with the boost formula that they were using. The clocks weren't hitting as high as they expected them to hit, and they will be modifying that in an upcoming AGESA update, which has already started rolling out. There's a couple boards that you can already download the update for. I did look for a BIOS update to my ASRock Phantom Gaming 4. There is not an update for my particular X570 board yet, but they are starting to roll out. So
they're trying to address it. It doesn't seem to be that big of a deal, but they are trying to address it. They are trying to address the users. It's a slow process, because I'm betting they're also trying to figure out which boards actually need it, instead of wasting a lot of time globally doing it for every single one.
Right. And again, there were multiple factors that went into the calculation for the overall boost clock, because the boost would only happen under the right scenarios. It would only happen if there was enough temperature headroom, if there was enough power headroom, and if there was enough voltage headroom. You have to have all three, so it's a sliding triangle.
Yeah.
And if it went, you know what, we don't want to go above 67C and boost you to 4.4, guess what? You weren't going to get to 4.4.
Anyways, yeah. It's just so sorry.
Right. So it was one of those things that there was so much vitriol so quickly, and we actually talked about it very early on in the story.
Yeah.
Like day 2 after it had happened. It was a very new story. And right after we talked about it last week, there was this outpouring of outrage on Reddit and on Tom's Hardware comments and on a bunch of other forums. And I'm like, guys, let's take a chill pill. It's okay.
And at the same time, too, it's like, yeah, you're asking for what even percentage of 25 hertz, would that even be?
Right.
And what was the price you paid for that chip?
Yeah.
In comparison and performance. How good of a performance are you getting? And you're complaining about 0.5%?
About 25 megahertz on one core.
Yeah.
That's what you were complaining about. Or not you. You are all fine folks. I love you guys. But the masses in general were complaining about 25 to 50 megahertz. That was the disparity.
On the top of the top.
Right.
The 1% of the 1% of your CPU chip.
Right. The all-core was still working fine.
Yeah.
It was the single core, which only happens some of the time. And in fact, even when you're in game, the single core won't take effect. It's going to be the all-core boost that it settles in at. So, I need that extra frame. I don't even know that you would got one extra frame from 25 megahertz.
Would you even notice one extra? I need 119. I need 120 on the dot because I'm hitting 119.
But I bought that new 144 monitor and I'm at 143, damn it.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly.
That's what we were arguing about. We were arguing about 1 millisecond.
Yeah.
And so it's
If
like
that.
Yeah. So just a reminder, especially on new platforms. If this was a years old platform, if this was on an X370 board that this was happening and they were borking old chips to try to get you to update, a la Apple or some other company like that, a la Windows anymore, I could see some outrage. This was a brand new platform with brand new BIOS updates, with brand new AGESA code on a brand new 7nm process. Let's give them a couple of weeks to figure out all the bugs in the system, shall we?
Yeah. Really, just give them 90. You're not even giving them the 90-day process. Okay, let's try this stuff out. Even as an employer, you get 90 days.
Yes.
You know, let them work those bugs out. What are you thinking?
Sediment at the bottom of this one.
I didn't get sediment.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah, I got a little bit of
Just a little bit. I'm thinking still very mango-y. A little bit hoppy. Still very juicy. Still very sweet.
Mm-hmm.
That richness has kind of gone away, and now it's tasting much more like a traditional citrus IPA rather than, like I said, there were some real deep brown sugar, syrupy, molassesy notes at the beginning that was kind of in the middle of that flavor. Anymore, it's just a good, solid, middle-of-the-road IPA. I don't mean middle-of-the-road like quality-wise. I mean middle-of-the-road flavor-wise.
Yeah, it's not outstanding. It's
Right.
Not, it's not jumping in your face of
Right.
like, there's just complex flavors going all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with all that.
It's like a party in my mouth.
And
Right.
I'm the only one invited. No.
Right, exactly. Yeah, so solid beer. I like it. Yeah.
Well,
But
I'm
again-
waiting on you for
Yeah.
the next one.
Why don't you go get the
I'll go
growler?
get the next one, and we'll go on from there.
So for those just joining us, I'll update you on what this little growler thing is. So John brought in a homebrew mango IPA, and he's having me blind taste test it against an equal ABV mango IPA from a major distributor.
Yes.
So I don't know which IPA is which. I simply know one of them is John's homebrew at 7.0%, and one of them is a major brewery. Same beer, same style of beer, same Mango Northwest IPA, also at 7%. So we'll find out which is which.
Yeah.
I'll give you the honors,
All right.
since that one's yours.
You think so?
A little hazier. Say right off the bat. A little hazy.
The other one had some cloud to it.
Not quite as much.
Not as much.
Not as
No,
much.
this one definitely does not look as filtered.
Right. Not nearly the head. The other one had a head.
Not nearly this. Yeah.
That's yours.
Okay.
Am I right or am I wrong?
You taste it and you. You have. We will taste it, and when you get the opinion, I want a fresh opinion of not knowing whether what beer is mine. And I want the end of the glass opinion. You can give me initial, but I will tell you at the end of this.
Oh, you're gonna make me wait the whole time?
That's right. Half glass. I'll give you a half.
Half glass?
Half glass.
I can already tell you this is yours.
Okay.
I can tell you this is yours.
In the good sense, the bad sense.
In the good sense,
Okay.
actually. So, am I right or am I wrong?
That's not half glass.
No, I'm not. You're gonna
not
make
half glass.
seriously.
It's not half glass.
Gosh.
It's half glass.
Okay, we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
We'll get into it later. We'll get into how I named it later.
Okay.
But I think I'm more clever than you give me credit for.
Okay.
Okay then.
Okay. I think. Never mind.
And if I'm wrong, I'm willing to eat that crow too.
This has a weird finish to it.
Yeah, it does.
Has a weird finish to it. It's not as mango-y.
Not nearly as mango-y. Much hoppier, and the hops, the bitterness stays the entire flavor profile. And so I'm getting a little bit of the mango sweetness, but it's, especially at the back end, it's completely overridden by the hops.
Yeah.
Citra?
I even get a little burniness.
Little burniness.
How would I know?
I'm just asking.
How would I know what hops are used in this beer?
I'm just asking.
I see that trick you threw in there.
Yeah, it's either Citra or Cascade. It's one of the two.
I mean, Citra, Mosaic, Cascade, they're all used in a citrusy, fruity style. So you're good enough guessing any one of those. Oh, yeah, probably.
I was expecting to know. Ah, damn it! Yeah, so we didn't get a close-up of the last one. Now, I did fix the audio on this one.
Oh, did you?
So
Finally.
hopefully... Oh, wait, sorry. Hold on.
But he didn't fix the hotkey.
I screwed up the hotkey. There we go. All right, so the audio should be fixed now. Let me know if it's not. Yeah. Focus.
There we go.
Something like that.
There
you go.
You can
there
see
you
that
go.
you can't see my hand. It's very cloudy.
Very cloudy. Very hazy.
Very hazy. So.
Yep.
This one doesn't have as much aromatic.
No.
It's there, but not. The other one seemed to this. Like you were saying, you smelled.
It was tang. It was it was mango. It was juice. It was orange juice right up on top. This one is honestly almost a little bit skunky on the nose.
Yeah, it has an interesting
flavor.
Or aroma, sorry.
Yeah, and it's not like a sour aroma.
No, I don't think this is a bad beer.
No, totally. I'd drink it.
Yeah, I drink it. So, I wouldn't pay $67,000 for this pint, but... If you don't know what we're talking about, watch the beginning of the video.
Neither would I.
No, sorry, 20... Or 50, probably like 10 minutes into the video.
I wouldn't pay $7,000 either, because you brewed it. It's going to be great when one of us is right and the other is. It's going to be so great. I'm getting a little worried because your poker face is really good right now. Anyway, John, did you know that it is illegal to use the emergency broadcast sound when you don't have an emergency broadcast going on?
I did not know that, actually.
Well, the producers of Young Sheldon, the Big Bang Theory knockoff, spin-off, I guess you could say, over on CBS, they're going to figure that out. So, if you did not know, and if you're not from the U.S., I totally understand, but the emergency broadcast system, everyone knows what that sound is. We know what the radio tone is. We hear the tests once a month or once every couple of months.
Yeah. And it's usually in the middle of some show you want to watch.
Right.
You're like, this is the part where he's gonna. This is the test of your emergency broadcast system.
Yeah. Had this been an actual emergency, you would on screen now would be instructions.
On what to do. Yeah.
Shelter in place. There's a missile over Hawaii.
Yeah.
But sorry. Comment at the bottom.
Yeah, I saw that too.
In the words of the great AVE. Thank you. Keep it in a vice. Okay. Anyway, so everyone in the U.S. knows what the emergency broadcast tones are, and they're very distinctive, and they come over the radio, they come over airwaves, over TV. And if it's an actual emergency, they're followed with instructions on what you're supposed to do given the emergency that you're in. Yep. Now, I don't know what particular episode this came out of.
It was... Yeah, I don't remember what it was. I thought there was an article I saw that stated it, but I couldn't...
Yeah.
I don't think it was this one after you looked it up.
Anyway, so apparently during an episode of Young Sheldon, CBS broadcast in the show, as part of the show, there was some natural disaster or something like that happening, and the emergency broadcast tones started going off on the show.
Yeah.
And so the characters are huddled around the TV looking for what instructions are going to come. But they use the actual emergency broadcast tones, which is a major no-no.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if someone, not watching in the other room sits there and hears it because you have it turned up.
Right.
They're going to freak out.
This is the equivalent on the radio or TV to running into a crowded amphitheater and yelling fire.
Yes.
It really is what it is. Now, a lot of people, I don't think, would know what to do if the emergency broadcast system came on and was an actual emergency. There's missiles over Hawaii.
Yeah.
Me, it's like, well, I guess this is how I'm going out. Well, I got a beer. I'm good to go.
Yeah. Where's my liquor?
Right. Exactly.
But wife, get the kids in the car. I'll get my kids.
Yeah. Come on, guys.
Let's go.
You drop a 12-year scotch on the way out. No! Right.
And this has only been a test of your emergency law. How dare you?
Yeah. Well, the car's already loaded up. I'm heading for Eastern Oregon. So, Young Sheldon producers are going to find out the hard way and the expensive way that you can't broadcast these tones, to the tune of $272,000 fine being issued by the FCC. A violation of Section 11.45 rules that you cannot use the tones absent an actual emergency.
Yeah.
It is forbidden from being broadcast on over the airwaves, essentially. Now, this is akin to, you can add it on to George Carlin's list of the words you can't say on television.
Yeah.
It's you'll get fined this, an equal or similar amount for saying those 7 words, and then you also can't broadcast the tones. So if you've never seen George Carlin's words you can't say on television, go watch his stand-up after the show sometime, because it's phenomenal. The Young Sheldon episode, A Mother, a Child, and a Blue Man's Backside. Apparently it was an episode with a tornado.
They're, Texas?
Yeah, so thank you, Becky. Season 1, moving forward, the FCC is allowing CBS a grace period to respond and will consider legal arguments to resolve the matter. Last month, ABC's Jimmy Kimmel Live received a $395,000 fine for simulating alert tones in a skit. AMC's The Walking Dead was also breached FCC rules and was fined $104,000 for using the tone, a noise that would no doubt allure zombies.
I think I remember the Walking Dead one because it was a siren noise that they were using as a warning, and I think it's the same noise as a tsunami warning.
Right.
Is what it was, and I think I do remember reading about that one.
Those shows were such garbage. I agree with Young Sheldon.
Not a huge fan of that. Never even watched it.
No.
Never. No even desire to watch it. Didn't even appeal to me at all.
No. As a man of culture, otherwise known as a geek, Big Bang Theory was actually slightly offensive because they were stereotyping a lot of geek and nerd and computer-centric culture in a show that seemed like it was poking fun at the culture, not necessarily representing it properly.
Yeah.
It's an opinion.
Well,
I know a lot of people really enjoyed the show.
Yeah.
I mean, it ran for, 9 years?
Yeah, a long time.
But every time I watched it, I was like, that's not the way that works, and that's not a joke anyone would make.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like the first, I think it was first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I thought was really...
There were some clever jokes.
There were some clever jokes. I think the first 2 seasons, they really took the nerd culture or geek culture a lot more playfully, and they really tried to tie in really good jokes. Mm-hmm. The later on in the series, let's just throw William Shatner in the background. Let's just throw Will Wheaton in the background. It's nerd now.
Right.
And it's, no. You aren't doing anything.
Right.
To where the early episodes were literally like, oh, let's go build this huge oversized computer for a simple problem.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then they also, during that, made Star Trek, comic book references, Star Wars references.
What's wrong with building a super oversized computer for a simple problem? I was thinking my server build with 3 Tesla cards in it right now.
I was thinking just a case to house a computer. And like, yeah, I need that many lights.
Who's enjoying the disco show right now? Yeah. There's the thumbnail.
Please.
Yeah, if you listen to the laugh track for Big Bang Theory, it's almost always pushed towards mockery, and that was always my feeling. Was there's shows like the IT Crowd, which represent the geek culture proudly. It's making fun of the geek culture, but it's within the geek culture.
Yeah.
It's I hate to say it, but it's akin to the hey, that's our word.
Yeah.
It's things like that where you can make fun of the culture from within the culture, but when you're outside and poking fun, now it's a problem.
Yeah.
And it's a hard line to draw in the sand. But at the same time, I always felt more mocked by Big Bang than I felt inclusive in Big Bang.
Yeah, I felt it was more...
I enjoy Dungeons & Dragons. I don't want to be made fun of for liking Dungeons & Dragons.
Yeah, it really did seem like it was... The Big Bang was, we're a bunch of nerds and we're excluded, and now we have all these hot friends. How do we get them... How do we incorporate our world with theirs? Instead of... Similar to the IT Crowd was you have to evolve to the tech world now. And the stupidity of the tech world. I wasn't laughing at that gif. I was laughing at the exercise one.
Yeah,
yeah, gosh, that's a great show.
If you've never watched the IT Crowd, what are you doing with your life? Go watch the IT Crowd.
Forget Big Bang Theory, forget Young Sheldon, forget all other tech shows. Watch the IT Crowd. My favorite joke on there is the when they find They take the day off, they play hooky, and then they find a bomb.
Yeah.
And then they send the robot out, and he's all, oh, there's a robot! I've never seen one in the wild before! Can we keep it? And then the bomb tech figures it out, and it's frozen.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's frozen. What operating system? Vista.
We're going to die!
Yeah. No, it's great. It's great. No, my favorite was Renham jumping out of the office window when the receptionist the receptionist comes in and says there's some men from the constable here who want to discuss irregularities in the trust fund, and he just opens the window and leaps out.
Just leaps out.
And that's the end of Renham.
Yeah.
And then his son comes in and he's sitting in the office and he's like looking through the drawers and he goes, "Oh, a gun!
Oh yeah, that's
I wonder if it's loaded." No. Favorite two scenes.
Yeah, the gun one's probably my second favorite scene too.
Oh, a gun!
Renham made that was a great show.
Yeah, here we go.
Oh yeah.
Hoop.
Yeah, if you aren't on Jeff's Discord, it's super cheap to join, but there are some great memes and great gifs going on right now. That's right. And your fans agree with me.
Follow the link down in the video description to join the Patreon where you can chat with myself, Steve, and Rhett.
Also, scroll a little further down.
Also, now hiring new talent.
Scroll further down, subscribe to Hops and Bros.
It's very true. Yep. Anywho. So yeah, don't broadcast the emergency broadcast tones on national television. And you'll probably be okay.
Jeff, what do those tones sound like? Should we look them up right now?
We probably totally should. Although I believe internet broadcasts are exempt from that rule. Because the FCC doesn't have jurisdiction over internet broadcasts. They have jurisdiction over anything that goes over the airwaves. And so that would be broadcast television over terrestrial broadcast or radio. So
maybe they should have just streamed that. I wonder if that episode will be no longer in syndication and it has to be streamed only.
Mm-hmm.
Or if they replace the noise.
They'll edit it out with something else.
Yeah.
Yep. How hard is it to remember 911? Oh, you mean 999?
Well,
Hold on.
Jeff knows the number.
0118999
Someone fact check that.
Yeah.
0118999-88199-9119725,
and then someone said you forgot the 3.
Yep.
Boom.
You've done that before on the show, though.
I've done that before. I think I was one off, Rhett was off, and I corrected Rhett.
Yeah.
That's what it was. The difficult part is the 88199-9119.
Sure, that's the difficult
That's
part.
the difficult part.
That's the difficult
That's
part.
the difficult part. I'm a little conflicted now.
Really? I get actually a bit of a burn on this.
I do, and that's unlike you.
I don't know.
Maybe not. Maybe
I
not.
don't know. All right, so actually, I will tell you, there was one difference in mine, and you probably don't know this. So there's a new hop called that came out, a new pellet form of hops. They're called cryo hops. Mm-hmm. So what cryo hops are?
I am actually aware.
Oh, okay. So essentially, what they do is
maybe they aren't though. So
they may not know. So essentially, what a cryo pellet hop is the basically it's double the amount of alpha acids.
Right.
So the aromatics, the bitters, your dog's barking in the background. It is twice as packed and potent in one tablet.
Yeah.
So
it's called a cryo hop because
they're cryogenic.
They're freeze-dried
freeze-dried
hops
yeah.
in pellet form, which you can add to your beer mash and
yes.
Yeah.
So I figured they knew the word cryo. Okay. Yes. Anyway.
Give me some credit.
Yeah. So
Discord. Ooh, a gun. Okay.
I love the one where he's got lipstick and he's like, my laptop doesn't work. It's like, are we gonna do this or not?
Jeff has a doggo. Jeff has 3 doggos right now.
Yes.
Normally I have 2. We're staying with the in-laws. They also have a doggo.
Yes.
Who's halfway between my 2 doggos.
Yeah, it's very... Soon anyone gets in here, all the dogs just run in and attack whoever's coming in. Not attack, but like, they're just bark, but then they jump up and... Yeah.
Hi!
They bark and they're like, hi, pet me.
Right.
And then when you pet them, they're all very fine-haired dogs.
Yes.
So when you pet them, it just sticks to you everywhere.
Yeah. See, I have a photo. I'm going to post it to the Discord of all my dogs staring up at me.
Yes,
there we go.
So join Jeff's Discord. It's a minimum of $1, though, to join Jeff's Discord. We have lots of channels on there. But anyways, tech, trade, meme wars, alcohol, food, beer, beverage talk, car talk, communications talk.
Yep.
All different types of things. But the difference between the two beers, as I was trying to get, is mine is cryo hopped. So actually, it is a more aromatic hop or version of hops than the standard pellet or a whole cone of hop. So,
is it?
That's how they advertise. So essentially, when a recipe calls for 1 ounce, you are actually only supposed to use a half an ounce of cryo hops because it's double the amount.
Yep.
Do I follow instructions? No.
Becky, why is he on his phone? Jeff, here's a pics of the dogs. I shared a pic of the dogs on Discord. Yeah. So there you go.
So Jeff, you like VR, right?
I love VR.
You had a couple videos of VR.
Yes. I was a backer of the original Oculus developer kit, the first $300 kit that launched. I was also a backer of the DK2. I owned 2 DK2 headsets. I bought the Vive pretty much on release day.
Yeah. I remember you bringing your Oculus, I think it was Oculus 2, over to my house during like a poker night.
That was the 1.0.
Was that 1.0?
That was the Oculus
during a poker night.
Back when a laptop could run it.
Yeah, everyone got sick.
Yeah,
everyone was like,
it was terrible. We were
drunk.
Yeah, we were all drunk. It was a poker night, and I'm like, you know what? I'll bring the headset, and we'll all have fun. So I brought my my Alienware MX14 laptop, which I think had a GT 660 or something like that.
680.
It wasn't a 680. It was some mid-range NVIDIA card. But it was enough to run VR at 60 frames a second, which was just fine. So I brought 2 games with me. I brought one which was a spaceship flying, X-Wing kind of simulation, and I brought another which was akin to stunt driving or cruising.
Yeah, it was a driving car.
Yeah, it was a driving where you have like loop-de-loops and jumps and things like that. But if you remember the Oculus DK1, there was no positional tracking on the headset. And so your head was fixed in 3D space. Yeah. If I did this, it didn't know what I was doing. And so it didn't do anything. My view stayed the same. All it had was rotational tracking, which is looking around.
So, you basically had to be like strapped to the chair. And
right.
You do those.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. You could look behind you, but you're going to get sick because your head's going to move in that process.
Yeah, you can just tilt, swivels, just turns. But it doesn't go like, oh, swing.
Right. Yeah, the swinging is what got you. So I brought this to a poker night, and I think 8 out of the 10 people got sick.
Yeah, I think within, everyone's like, oh, this is,
that's really cool, Jeff.
Yeah. This is the coolest thing you guys can do, flight simulator, but you just stay still, guys. Yeah, I got this.
So everyone's showing doggo pictures on Discord.
Yeah, I saw that.
Puppies! Aw. There are some good-looking puppers in there.
It's essentially we're talking puppies!
Squirrel.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, yes, I am an early adopter of VR. I've had
all different. You even had big ones that went out of here that was 4K.
The Pimax 5K.
Yeah.
Oh, that video.
Oh, that video.
That was a phenomenal video. Me and Rhett, 33 minutes long.
Whatever, but
it was a great video. So yeah, I've got all different shapes and sizes and form factors of VR headsets. I'm an early adopter and an enthusiast for VR. But some really exciting news this week in that Google is starting to develop a wireless VR headset with 6 degrees of freedom and hand tracking for Google Stadia.
Yeah.
So this is a patent that was filed. Again, another patent leak kind of thing, but filed by Google, one of Google's child companies, for a VR headset with wireless Ethernet.
Yeah. A HMD is what they're calling
right.
A human-mounted display.
Yeah, or a head-mounted display.
Yeah, sorry.
And has a near-eye display and a WPAN controller and a WLAN controller. And then your data source is external to it, as we can see by the little waves that are on the side of it there. So kind of an exciting thing that VR may be coming to Google Stadia. Now, my criticisms of Google Stadia were always latency. Now, I know we've been beginning to solve the latency issue of gaming in the cloud. Certainly, the early reviews of Stadia have been pretty good with Assassin's Creed Origins and a couple others, or Odyssey or whatever the hell. Whichever one they.
Yeah. The very early ones they did.
Yeah. The early test was of one of the Assassin's Creeds.
I think it was the pirate one.
No, it wasn't 4. That was 4. It was Odyssey, I think. It was the Roman one.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was the pirate one.
No, that was quite a few years ago.
Okay.
It was the pirate one. Anyway, the early reviews have been pretty good as far as latency and playability and graphical fidelity, and everything's looking fine. But my complaint has always been you can only get the latency down so far because you're going to be a certain distance away from your source, and light and electricity only travels so fast. And if you're losing 10 to 12 to 20 milliseconds with overhead, that's going to lead to some performance issues.
Yeah.
With VR, that is even more.
That's a huge no, essentially.
Right.
I mean, even if you have a cheap HT or what are the cheaper brands? Not the same.
The Windows Mixed.
The Windows Mixed Reality, where they're a little bit lower end. You can really tell, there's. I need better quality. I need latency.
There were some corners cut.
There were some corners cut. The sensory, the hand motion tracking.
Ooh. We've had that one.
Yes, we have.
I've had that one. Absence of Light peanut butter stout from Four Hands Brewing.
Skull again.
Skull. Oh no, that's Becky.
Oh, what? Becky?
Yeah, bringing out the big guns.
And look at that sexy background you got.
Yeah. John suddenly checking his hair. Yeah.
Cheers, Becky.
How you doing? You were saying, John?
Yeah. Anyways, the same. Just the lower quality of that, you can really feel that, and it really takes away from the game a lot. You really want, the whole point of VR is the submersive. I'm immersed in this world. Right. I really want to feel that way. I really want to lose myself in this game. And two things do that: bad graphics, or not good enough framework, and just crappy hardware. And if you're far away and this is wireless and the game already is lagging behind, the graphics will not feel as nice, because these monitors, or displays as they want to call them, I don't know. I guess that we don't know what the resolution of the displays are too either.
Right. The thing about the latency from a game to display is you can deal with it if you're looking at a display. So I'm looking at my monitor and my mouse is 3 milliseconds behind what I'm actually telling it to do. Yeah. That's actually quite normal. What's not normal is for me to turn my head and my eyes to be 3 milliseconds behind my brain. That is a completely different concept.
Yeah, that's why I guess the immersiveness of the game. You want to make it feel like I'm actually there. This is reality. So when I turn my head, my brain's telling me this is all in real time.
Yes.
Not 3/4 of a millisecond behind.
Right.
That'll still make me feel sick of
I'm
drunk.
It can.
Now if you're used to being drunk, VR might be the thing for you. Hence why Jeff's so into it.
I have gotten sick in VR before, and it's usually with games that are not well optimized for movement.
Yeah.
And it was pretty early on. I got sick in Pavlov a couple of times before they really had things fine-tuned. Anymore, I can play Pavlov for hours at a time, and I'm just fine. They really did refine their motion aspects.
I think the only one I got really, other than the very first VR one,
the
space one,
the demos, which I'm like, this is great, guys.
Remember at the tap room, you did the skateboarding.
Oh, the drunk challenge.
The drunk challenge one.
God.
And you did the drunk skateboarding.
That was awful.
And you had to hit this right, and then when you wiped out, that made you just want to vomit.
Yeah, there was a game for VR that was coming out right when I was finishing up my time at John's tap room, And basically it was this like drunk challenge game. And so there were like 4 or 5 different mini games you could choose from, one of which was shooting glasses off your buddy's head.
Well, that one I liked.
Yeah,
that one.
So
yeah, that one was like you shoot them off and then you get it, so then you drink and your vision becomes
blurrier and a little swirlier and whatnot. And you're trying to look down the barrel of the gun and your hand's kind of doing this
You're
number.
trying to hold steady, but then your guy's doing this. So
right, and he's getting more drunk too.
Yeah, so but that didn't make you sick because the whole visual aspect became blurry.
Right, because that's in my head.
Yeah.
There were a couple other mini games. There was one that was like a Frogger one, where it's first person Frogger with where you have a walker and you're trying to go across the street, but you're drunk. Yeah. And so in between every run, you're taking a shot, and your vision gets a little blurrier and a little bit more. Your reaction time gets
a little lower.
And that one was just frustrating as heck.
But it was fun. That one was fun.
That one was fun too.
Except when you got hit.
Right. When you got hit, your body literally did like this number.
Yeah.
And when your physical being moves in VR and you're not actually moving, that's a jarring moment.
Yeah.
That is a moment that makes you sick. The worst one was the skateboarding one though, where they put you up on top of a half pipe. And you have to lean forward and then lean back. And so you're doing this thing with blurry vision, with everything else, and you're constantly wiping out because the game mechanics itself were pretty terrible.
Yeah.
And so you're going to crash, and you're going to crash hard. And I had more people fall with my headset in that game than any other game.
Oh, yeah, it was bad. But then people wanted to keep playing because they're like, oh, I can do it. But yeah, that was horrible. It basically... Both the Walker one and that one kind of was like getting hit in on old Grand Theft Auto. You know, when a car hits you and you just go flying and flipping everywhere. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what each character did.
Yeah.
But yeah, Google coming out with their own basically wireless headset streaming to the cloud since game service.
Yeah.
Kind of a cool thing. That essentially being wireless headsets.
Yep.
I don't know what you just take the headset with you, go to your buddy's computer, essentially.
Not even that. It's connected to Wi-Fi. The brain is in the headset.
Yeah, so essentially you're good to go.
If you've got an internet connection, low latency, I assume, you can play VR.
Yeah.
So kind of an interesting concept. I'm really curious to see how that one would go. And if they release something, I certainly would want to review it. So
before we get into any further... Jeff, you want to know, or do you have any change of thoughts?
I want to know. This one is yours.
It's not.
It's not. Really?
It is not mine. This is the professional Bury.
That is insane. I'll give you that for a couple of reasons. I'll say why.
Okay. Why did you think the first one was not mine?
I had a tell from the get-go.
Okay.
And the tell was this growler wasn't filled as full. This growler was to about here. The other one was filled to the neck. And when I get a growler filled at a brewery, I expect it to be filled to the neck. And this one was not. Mm-hmm. So shame on whoever you bought this from for not filling the growler.
So I will tell you that I actually thought of that tell.
Yeah.
And the problem was that I didn't go to the brewery. I had to go to the marketplace, and I just bought 2 pint cans.
Okay.
And it filled it exactly to 32 ounces.
Okay,
so you had the right idea.
Normally these are 37.
Normally they do fill it to 37.
Yeah.
I overfilled mine.
Okay.
That's the problem. I was like,
so I had the right tell.
You had the right tell.
Okay. Here's the other thing. That did not taste like an Oregon hop.
Oh, there was Mosaic and Citra.
Really?
Mosaic and Citra.
That is insane because that is not what I got out of that.
Yeah, Mosaic and Citra, but they were cryo hopped. And so they kind of have a different...
there's a different flavor to them.
Different flavor.
This one
it's more aromatic than bitter than anything else.
This one I'm getting much more bitter, much more what I'm akin to a Northwest IPA, but it's in
This has a bit of a burn at the end, too.
It does. But even with the hazy elements to this is a much more Oregon hop. And I know originally you were setting out to make a hazy mango.
Yeah.
That's what you said.
Yeah.
And so when that one came out more clear and this one came out mango-ier or not mango-ier because that one had a lot more mango.
Yeah.
That is by far the better beer. By far the better beer.
The question is, here's another question.
Yeah.
Whose was better, mine or Steve's?
Ooh. Ooh. John wins this one.
That's right.
John wins this one. John's mango is better than Steve's pineapple.
It's not. I actually like Steve's pineapple a lot.
It's not by far. It's not by a wide margin.
It's not. No, it's not. I actually think the only reason what's really lacking, I think, in Steve's was his body. I think my body's a little bit better.
It is much better. That is a much more full body, and you actually have much more complex flavors than this beer does.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
That's insane to me.
Mine was actually double fermented.
Yeah.
I had after the second fermentation and then the first dry hopped, I added it was about 24 ounces of pureed mango, and then I let that ferment for 2 days. And the yeast re-kicked back in.
Do you know what... I mentioned the brown sugar and molasses right in the center. Yeah. Do you know what flavor I was actually thinking of? It's when you make a maple brown oatmeal and you add some brown sugar and you let it kind of melt in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
It's that super molassesy, really, really deep sugar flavor. Yeah. That's what that was getting to me.
No, I really like that beer. That's a good beer.
John, I'm impressed. This is the second beer that you could sell.
Yay. No, I kept that recipe. That's a good recipe.
That's a good recipe. You need to do that one again.
Yeah.
This is...
it's good.
It's a good beer. It's a good hazy IPA.
Yeah.
What is this beer?
So this is actually Riverbend Brewing's Mango Go Fluff Yourself.
Okay.
Actually, I did a review. I actually know the head brewer personally.
Yeah.
So his name's Mike.
Yeah, this is not a bad beer. I will say straight out, this is not a bad beer. Even for a hazy, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
All the way through. It does have a little bit of burn, but the burn isn't building. It's the same burn every drink.
Every sip, yeah. I mean, we're at the end of it now.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I'm getting it, the last couple ounces, know. And it's still not burning like a Christ knife or whatever.
Right. Oh, Lord.
Fort George's stuff.
Wow.
That was bad, but...
Yeah.
So... Yeah, both 7%. So I was very pleased with that beer.
That is probably your finest work, I will say.
Yeah, it's up there. It's up there with one of my finest.
It's up there. I haven't had all your home brews, but that is solid. Like I said, and to let you know, I didn't base my results on the tell. I based it off of overall quality, and I expected what you were going to bring from a brewer was going to be overall a little bit more complex, a little bit higher quality. That to me screams higher quality than this one does.
Oh, thank you.
Like I said, the flavors were much more complex. They evolved over the course of the beer. This is actually getting simpler the deeper I get into it.
Yes.
And like I said, I taste the hop at the beginning, and that hop just kind of stays. And I've got a little bit of that acid burn and a little bit of mango, but it could be very well confused for a citra hop.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, there's some mango there, but it's not like mango. That's mango.
That's mango.
That's mango.
When I first made that, I was like, this is juice.
Right.
This is just juice.
Right.
Or with hops. Mango juice and threw some hops in there.
Yeah. So I'm actually surprised that I'm wrong. I'm really surprised.
Well, that was so funny. It's like, I knew my mango beer was going to be good, and you guys were all distant. I was like, I'm gonna get them.
No, I'm honestly impressed.
All right, fantastic.
Very well done. Moving on. So you certainly have a certain pride and accomplishment when it comes to brewing a great beer.
I do.
EA has a new thing to hang on their wall, shall we say?
Yeah.
A
tip of the cap.
Little new feather to put in their cap, so to speak. We're all fans of EA's pride and accomplishment talk. That Reddit post now has a Guinness Book of World Record award to it. Recognized as the most downvoted post of all time. So, this is an actual award that was given to the company.
Oh gosh, they went and they had to pay for it.
It was 2017, right after Battlefront had come out. Star Wars Battlefront 2 had come out, and the pay-to-win mechanic was as prevalent as it's ever been in gaming. Until NBA 2K20 decided to up the bar with actual slot machines in their game, and that was literally the entire ad.
Well, didn't we even talk about this on the show like a long time ago?
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
We did. But anyway, there was some videos posted early on of like someone just buying Darth Vader and literally never dying.
Yeah.
Just like walking through and pressing X to like swing your lightsaber, and you're just mowing through people.
Yeah.
And it's like, and EA's going, no, you can unlock Darth Vader after like 90 hours of gameplay.
Once you've beaten the game and unlocked all of the other game treasures and all throughout that, basically once you've gotten everything, then you can unlock.
Right. Or you could just buy him for $100.
Yeah.
You know.
From the very beginning.
Right.
Whatever.
Everyone has the same opportunity if they want to spend the same amount of money. I don't understand the problem here.
Yeah.
Right. So we all remember the Reddit post in which EA was defending their loot box terms and saying, we hope that players get a certain pride and accomplishment out of the gameplay. But we also want to give players who don't want to sink as much time an equal chance to win.
Yeah.
And that was not the case. This was simply a cash grab, and everyone knew it from the beginning. That post was downvoted 683,000 times. And I can't remember how many times it was gilded. It was in the hundreds.
Oh, yeah.
Back when Reddit Gold was the standard currency of Redditites. So EA has been officially granted a Guinness Book of World Records. Guinness Book of World Records record.
Yes.
There we go.
Well, actually, do you know how you get a Guinness Book of World Record?
Yeah, you tell someone, I'm going to attempt this, and they come out and they officiate it.
No, you have to pay them.
You have to pay them.
You have to pay them. So EA had to pay the Guinness Book of World Records to go through Reddit and look through Reddit.
Yeah.
And so that's where I was saying EA was trying to get some positivity out of this. They are trying to make some tongue-in-cheek joke. Hey, look at us. Something positive to spin. It's almost like, okay, we'll start making fun of ourselves now, 3 years after the fact.
Right.
We messed up. Yes. But because of that, look at the record we got.
Right.
It'll never be broken, probably. Unless there's a dating site that might break it.
Right. And it very well could. John, you're often cruising the web for lonely singles.
I constantly am swiping right.
Yeah. Anyone and everyone.
And if you got the time, I got the money.
And boy, are you a sucker for a sweet little Kentucky Belle.
Oh, I love them extra crispy and extra juicy.
That's right. Finger licking good, as John says.
11 secret herbs and spices.
Well, John, I have just the game for you.
Really?
I do. Oh. I have a man of distinguished taste and character who is right up your alley. And in fact, he's a colonel in the army.
Ooh! Yeah. So I get all those discounts.
That's right. You get the military discounts and senior citizen discounts. Oh. Right off the bat.
All right.
I am talking, of course, of none other than Colonel Sanders and his brand new dating game, which is actually a game. I was kind of hoping Steve would be on for this show.
Steve probably actually has this game. He probably got it in a loot crate, and he just doesn't know it.
I'm sure he's going to buy it.
He probably will. I want... Okay, yeah, go ahead.
It's actually coming to Steam September 24th. It will be available, and it will be available for free.
Oh. The Chick-fil-A will be just a Christian version of like, do you want to court me?
Categories. That's third base in Christian baseball.
And then you have Popeye's chicken over. Hey, we're just here.
Yeah. Sorry, it's an old Jando Tosh joke.
Yeah.
Categories. So I love you, Colonel Sanders. A finger-licking good dating simulator will be live on Steam on September 24th for free.
Please do a review of this, Jeff.
If you would like to date Colonel Sanders in
which is like an anime,
in a Japanese anime dating style game.
I love it. It's no lot.
Which I can only hope is as non-safe for work as some of the ones that have been flooding the Steam pages as of late. Oh man.
You know what'd be awesome is if with every download you get like a coupon for like a crispy chicken sandwich or a pot pie.
It better be a double down.
That would be awesome. I love a good double down.
It had better be a double down. Colonel Sanders, anything for a fellow chef. In his sexy Asian-esque appearance.
I don't... Gosh. I just love... I love the way...
With the Kentucky bow tie.
Yeah.
Right on top of it.
Everything's there. Southern charm in Japan.
Before Don wants to say, Senpai, do you like my fried chicken? Thank you. I think there's already a Wendy's already in Japan.
I believe there is a Wendy's and a McDonald's. There might be a McDonald's. I know there is a Wendy's for sure.
Okay. Colonel Sanders lifts a large bucket above his head. Its contents glimmer in the light.
That's bad.
Leave a comment if you want to see an update on this video, or maybe a new benchmark title. I'll add it to my repository if you guys want it.
Please comment below and
leave
say you want it.
Leave a comment on this video if you want to see Colonel Sanders. I love Colonel Sanders finger looking good dating sim.
Hashtag finger looking good.
Hashtag finger looking good. We had so many jokes going on earlier about this one.
Yeah, this is bad. This is... We can't even live say them.
Right. Yeah. I'll say them in Discord, no problem at all. But, I can't say them on the show here. Wendy's Sim Date, I guess is the title of that one. There are multiple McDonald's ones in Japan.
Yeah.
Fanfic of this game is going to be epic. I want to see the Meg Turney fanfic of this one. That's what I'm voting for. All right.
I want to see the Dairy Queen Burger King fan fiction that they get together.
Yeah, there you go.
And just what happens.
Yeah. Is it going to be kind of like the gingerbread Magic the Gathering video that was posted today?
That was horrible.
Wow.
Again, if you don't know what we're talking about, join us just Discord because we talked about it in there.
That's right. At length. Oh, man. How do we get back on track? Probably by talking about the death of a company. How's that?
This company's been dying for a while.
It's been dying for a while. The writing's been on the wall since, 2007?
Oh, gosh, yeah. Well, now, okay.
Later than that. So I'm being unfair.
Yeah, what we're talking about, GameStop.
GameStop
is reported second quarter, they're going to be closing 200 plus stores, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the exact number, but it was over 200. But anyway, it's a lot. Now, didn't they just go and buy... Oh, gosh, yeah. Now, I actually like that picture because of the Final Fantasy reference.
Yes.
But I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
It's the Colonel Sanders...
versus McDonald's.
McDonald's, Sephiroth versus Cloud.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
It's fantastic. Oh, gosh. Whoever came up with that was a genius. But didn't GameStop... didn't they buy a major company? Oh, no. They bought
Geek.com.
Geek.com.
Or ThinkGeek.
ThinkGeek. Yeah, ThinkGeek.
That's right.
So, now, these are GameStop's physical stores. I don't know if GameStop's website... I don't know how their online store is actually doing.
Basically, what they said is they're outlining a new strategic plan of doubling operating profit improvement to exceed their goal of $200 million on a run rate basis by 2021. So they are going to try to double down on the GameStop IP and utilize that because it is worth something.
No, people still...
An established business is still worth something, regardless of whatever. Eric Del Toro, sorry, $5 donation. Glad I missed the fanfic discussion in the Discord.
Well, you can join.
Join the Discord. There you go.
For that $5
Oh, no, he's already in the Discord.
Oh.
That's right.
Well, just scroll up then.
He just has a different name.
Oh.
In the Discord. Anyway, all right, I've met you. I know who you are. Anyway, so yeah, they are planning on continuing business in some fashion. whether or not this will be a mail order service, whether or not this will be an online only affair, whether or not this will be a retailer for consoles, or they're going to try to continue business in some way, shape, or form. But they will be closing roughly 200 stores because of a $31 million shortfall in quarter 2, which is like the 10th consecutive quarter of shortfalls.
Yeah.
So, as I said, the writing's kind of on the wall. He says, I really don't want to scroll that far up. We didn't get into fanfic-ish with it, although there were...
Oh, if you want to DM me, we can.
Anyway, so we're not sure what GameStop's business model will be moving forward, but we do know they will be trying to kind of resurrect their company in some way, shape, or form. So...
What was that company that did the online, kind of like what Netflix was trying to do, but for games?
Oh, Gamefly.
Gamefly. That idea always appealed to me because it's like, essentially, oh, I want the game, and I can keep it for a month, and I'm done with it. Throw it back. And then that company, once they're done with it for 2 years, they probably throw the case up on eBay and, sell 5 million copies of it. Kind of make their money back. I don't know. That strategy kind of makes sense to me. It seems to work for Netflix, and I wonder if GameStop kind of almost goes the way of Google of online streaming or online cloud-based gaming. If there was any way of doing something like that, like a Steam. Actually, why doesn't GameStop do something like Steam?
Do game distribution rather than game sales.
Yeah.
And that could totally be a method going forward.
But I guess there is always the people that want the physical game.
Right.
And GameStop
that number is dying by the day.
It
really is.
It is, but I think there's still kids out there that are going to want the physical game to open for their birthday, for their Christmas present.
Nope.
I think there is.
I think you're wrong.
I think there will always be kids out there growing up. I want the physical case. I want the physical item.
Yeah.
And honestly, too, what happens then if that starts dying out? What's going to happen to collector's items then? You're not going to have a digital sign card of, here's my code, and here's the original code for Duke Nukem 3D, you know, or Fallout 4. No one's going to care about that. But if you had an original disc case of, a particular game,
right,
that's a collector's item anymore.
I think there was still...
You could have downloaded Zelda Breath of the Wind, but you decided to get the cartridge.
Right.
But you could have gotten the downloadable content.
You're right, because I do have...
Yeah. I got it as a gift.
I bought everything else digitally, but I have the cartridge for Breath of the Wild.
So...
So there you go.
Well,
Case in point.
Yeah.
Case in point.
So I think there will always be a market for that, but I think their strategy has to shift differently because they're going to end up being like Toys R Us, and they'll just die. Right. Toys R Us was the same way. Kids are always going to want toys. Well, you marketed it really badly, and you didn't play it the right way, and your toys are just so out of date. They tried to be more of a Sears than... Oh, okay, that's where we're going. What you don't want? The carbonated cinnamon whiskey and honey whiskey I brought?
We'll try that afterwards because cinnamon and me have kind of a mixed relationship.
Look at this. That's... Oh. You should...
There are some cinnamon whiskeys I can have, and there's some others that I just literally cannot.
I just want to show you this. All right, so this is 40% liquor.
Okay. Whoa!
That's 40% liquor. And it's looking
I can smell it. Holy crap.
That's like soda.
Wow.
I got this idea from the Whiskey Try.
Feel how wet the wax is on that.
Oh my gosh. That's like bait.
Yeah.
Tackle and bait stuff.
Yeah.
It actually even looks, it's so glittery.
Yeah.
We could probably use that as a...
Probably could. There's glitter on the bottle still.
Oh wow, yeah.
So again, this is Confluence Brewing, Cooperage Mango Dodger. It's a double IPA that's been aged in... crap, I don't have the bottle opener on me. Yeah. Oh,
what?
No, hold on. I do. There it is.
That's That's why I always carry the crappy one on my keychain. Just saying. Someone never gave me one of the Discord ones.
I did too.
Nope, never got one.
Well, you'll have one before you leave.
I'll have one more before half of the Discord people. Look at the clarity on that, though, compared to the last two. I think you got the most of that. That's fine. It's your beer.
Yeah, just wait.
Oh, that's a pretty good judge. Look at that. That's pretty close. That's even. Retract. Proven wrong. All right, both of us were wrong today. Whew, that's
Whew.
a lot different than the last two we had.
Yeah. The last two kind of put some hair on your chest. This will burn it right off.
Yeah.
Wow.
I get a medicine flavor or aromatic to it, kind of a NyQuil.
Mm-hmm. Mango-y.
I get it. I know there's mango in this.
Yeah.
You definitely right up front.
Yeah.
It's sweet. I get a tart wryness at the back end, like you were saying, kind of like young whiskey.
Orange peel.
I get unripened orange peel.
Yeah.
So it's not super, but I almost get a little tartness of this wasn't aged too long, like you said, 3 months, and you can taste that.
Oscar, $5 donation. I'm new to the channel. Guy in the gray shirt looks like he can down a mason jar of moonshine. And he's drinking a Stella at the moment.
Ah. No, I've never done a mason jar, but I've done like an energy shot. Jeff's like, I've done a mason jar. I'm saying at one time.
I put down some hooch.
I put down some hooch too. I'm talking at one time. There's even that Steve has some actual like hooch, and he hates it. I just drank the whole thing.
Oh, I don't hate it.
Oh, I thought. Did you have Steve's?
I forgot
cherry?
Steve had some hooch.
Oh.
I didn't have any of Steve's hooch.
This is drying at the back.
It is. It's very dry.
drying.
It's like a champagne yeast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Champagne yeast.
Like a brute.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yes. Very good example. Yeah. Yes. I think this beer at the front end is very tasty and then just drops.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, the first sip, and then... No, it's not that it's a bad beer. Just saying all the flavors and everything, all the best parts about this beer just drop very fast.
So, you put it in your mouth, you kind of swish it for a second. You go to swallow. As soon as the liquor hits the top of your mouth, the flavor dies.
Yep.
It's just gone. So at this point, I don't taste anything. There's nothing left. And if you're one that kind of follows the progression of a drink, you know, the evolution of it,
Yeah.
you know exactly what I'm talking about. Where it's like, okay, a little mango, a little rye, I taste a little barrel in there, and where did it go? It just disappears.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest thing.
It goes mango, and then you taste this woody ryeness to it.
Mm-hmm.
That you taste that barrel-aged rye right in the middle, and then everything drops, and then it's just drying, kind of like a brute champagne.
Yeah.
Like what lingers on your mouth is this chalky flavor, like a brute champagne.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great example of brute champagne.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, champagne yeast. But it's not carbonated like a brute champagne. It's not that super bubbly, but it's just very drying like it.
Oscar wants to know, he's always wanted to try absinthe. Is there a special way to prepare it right? Look over at How to Drink. It's a YouTube channel hosted by Greg, who's a fantastic guy. He does an absinthe cocktail, and he explains exactly how you should start with absinthe. Basically what it is you take a sugar cube, you place it on a bar spoon above an empty glass.
Oh.
And you, above like a shot of absinthe. Yeah. And you pour distilled water over the top of it. The water will dissolve the sugar on its way down. And when it hits the absinthe in the bottom, it'll start reacting. The chlorophyll will reactivate. It'll turn green and it'll start swirling around and it'll get this milkiness to it. And that's an absinthe cocktail. And he has perfect instructions on how to do it. And if you are new and wanting to experiment with absinthe, that's how you do it. Is it hallucinogenic? No.
Nope.
That was the same stuff that's in absinthe is the same stuff that's in wormwood, which is the same stuff that's in vermouth. So if you've had a martini, you've had the same basic ingredients.
Well, isn't that modern absinthe? We're talking like the whole hallucinogenics of absinthe is old absinthe. Isn't that?
Even then, it was kind of a conspiracy by the wine industry to discredit absinthe because in the 40s, everyone was buying absinthe and a lot of people stopped buying wine. And so they said, well, absinthe causes you to lose your mind and hallucinate, blah, 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 and like modern day bath soap.
Yeah.
Was kind of what they were trying to get at.
That's why I have bath soap.
So yeah, go check out Greg over at How to Drink over on YouTube. He has a great absinthe cocktail to get you started.
We are out of content. So, usually during this time, we either rant about something or we take Q&A. And so, if you have any questions of something throughout the show, something for either one of us, something we talked about earlier, go ahead and post it. We'll talk about that. Otherwise, we're probably going to rant about Star Trek or something nerdy.
We'll get into something Star Trek Picard or...
yeah. So...
The floor is yours.
Hurry up, because...
But be warned, the clock is ticking.
It's gonna happen.
Last time I drank absinthe, I set my face on fire. I've never had absinthe do that to me. I think that was a personal problem.
Yeah, I've never had any form of alcohol make me want to do that to my face.
Well, maybe one, but we'll get into that another day.
There was one time Steve has a great story about me.
Only one?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
But there's one in particular I even love telling. Yeah. Somehow at the end of the night my pants came off. Let me put it that way.
I've heard that story.
Wait,
which one?
I made love to a maid machine. Literally tried to do stuff to a maid machine.
How many hours do I have in Skyrim? A little over 120, 140, somewhere right in there.
And then he deleted it and did it again.
Before dawn, I'm not answering that. Oof. That's a rough question. As I'm drunk.
Oh, yeah, no.
And Becky says, thank you for clearing the name of absinthe. I still haven't tried it, but I love discrediting myths just because some people who happen to have been drinking absinthe did some stupid stuff while drunk doesn't mean everyone who's drunk has done stupid stuff. And that is exactly right. If you look up the history of absinthe, it started getting a rise sometime in the mid-1930s, and it was a great alternative to wine. So all of the wine people who didn't want to lose their hold on the market started sending out basically a smear campaign against absinthe, saying it causes hallucinations and people to lose their mind and go on these wild killing sprees and eat human flesh and things like that. When that's just not true. It's just another distilled spirit like any other distilled spirit. And like I said, the core spirit in absinthe is wormwood. It's the same thing that we put in vermouth. It's a fortified wine. It's the exact same cocktail. It's the exact same spirit. So it's just prepared a little bit differently.
So could we do a Manhattan with vermouth?
With absinthe?
With absinthe?
You absolutely could. You absolutely could.
So could we call it an absinthe Manhattan?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. We should try that.
We should try that.
There are two types of wormwood. The southern is cheaper and isn't as strong, and the northern is more intense. Depends on how you distill it. Depends on how you prepare it. I mean, you could say Kentucky bourbon is the only bourbon, and I'd totally disagree with you. So, no, literally on fire. Flaming shots. Okay, so he set his face on fire with flaming shots.
So,
I almost did that with 151.
Would you like accidentally spill it on your face, or?
We lit from some 151 shots on fire, and I blew it out, but it didn't quite go out.
Get your goatee.
A little bit. A little singed hair. Maybe an eyebrow.
Yeah, see, never... all the flaming ones I've ever done, I think only like 2 or 3 flaming shots. Mm-hmm. Other than that, no, never really did... Although my other brother, Mike, did a couple of... Got really drunk. We were at camping. We're like, watch this! Takes a big old chug of... I forget what it was, but it was high proof, and just spits it into the fire. We're all saying, like, what did you do? Yeah.
Big purple flame?
Yeah, you have no idea who's around.
Right.
You know?
So Skull says, so the Mango Dodger, I think I've had it warmer, just slightly chilled. Not sure what temperature we're drinking at the moment. I think we're about 55.
Yeah, we're pretty warm. We're
pretty
probably
warm.
high 50s.
Yeah.
It could use the 50. 50 degree would probably be better.
I'd say like 42, 45 is where I would rather have this started.
Well, maybe started.
Right.
I think optimal flavor would have been 49, 50.
Yeah, I think we're a little past optimal. It's still good.
It's still good.
It's still very good.
I think with this temperature, you're really getting the rye whiskey barrel aged.
There's a lot of rye in this. There is a crap ton of rye in
Yeah,
this.
I think the drying aspect of that barrel is really coming out potently on this.
Tried to drink it while it was still on fire, but the glass was too hot and spilt some. Yeah, that's how you do it. Always... And make sure the flame is gone before you shoot.
Yeah, don't do this.
This public service message brought to you by Craft Computing.
I have 6.
Had this been an actual emergency, your face would be on fire.
Yeah. Let's see. Chevy asks how many siblings I have. I have 6.
Yeah.
That would be including Steve. So I am the youngest of 7.
That's right.
So.
I have 2 siblings.
Yes.
And I am the oldest by 11 years.
Ow.
Yeah. It's a sizable gap. It's me, and then there's no one, and then there's my brother and my sister, like, right in a row.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever met your sister.
I don't think you have.
No, I met your brother. I've never met your sister.
Yeah, I don't think you've met my sister.
She
is starting college down at the U of O, and she's actually moving out this weekend.
Oh.
She will be a junior at the U of O. She already did her 2 years of school. So.
Oh, well.
Got an associate transfer degree from Clackamas Community College.
Nice.
And is now at the U of O. So, Kendall, congrats. Good job. Yes, for sure. There's a lot of rye in it. Why I sent it to Jeff. Jeff mentioned he likes rye. I do like a good rye.
He does like a good rye.
A lot of my cabinet is rye. There's a lot of rye in this. Especially on the nose.
What is your go-to spirit that most people have not heard of?
Ooh, that's a great question.
That's an interesting question.
I probably have it in here.
Now, go-to spirit, because that's interesting.
Right.
Because that could literally be anything.
Right.
I'm betting it's a whiskey.
It's a whiskey. I'm going to grab a couple. This one. People have heard of this one. People have not heard of this one. There we go.
Okay.
All right. So I have 2 bottles in my hand. One of which you have heard of.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So the bottle shape should be very reminiscent to a lot. This is the Elijah Craig Small Batch. This is a phenomenal whiskey. It's a Kentucky whiskey. Bourbon straight whiskey, 94 proof, 47% alcohol. Absolutely delicious. About $28 to $32 for a fifth. So not terribly expensive. But honestly, a quintessential example of what a Kentucky bourbon should be. And you can drink this straight. You can drink it over rocks. You can shoot it. You can mix it in cocktails. It holds up in every way, shape, and form.
It's a good whiskey.
This is absolutely delicious. I love this whiskey. This is my go-to whiskey that I always have on hand. So Elijah Craig Small Batch. One that's out of left field that a lot of people probably haven't heard of is actually a gin. But I think
I know this one.
But it's an interesting gin. This is from Big Bottom Brewery, or Big Bottom Distillery. They are actually up in Hillsboro, Oregon.
Yep.
This is the Northwest style barrel finished gin.
Yep, I knew that.
So you notice it's a little bit gold in color. This has been barrel finished. It aged 1 year in an oak barrel. So very much like the finishing process of a whiskey. 16 botanicals, locally sourced from Oregon and the Northwest. 45.5%, so a 91 proof. This is a gin that if you're a whiskey fan and you go, I kind of want to try a gin, get this gin. Find this gin.
That is a great gin.
This gin tastes like rye, but it has all of the herbs and botanicals and nuances that you would expect of a rye whiskey, but in gin form. And it is absolutely phenomenal. And it's about $35 for the fifth. It's not the cheapest thing in the world. There are some other gins that I like that are a little bit cheaper. There's Bombay Sapphire. There's a couple others that are in that $20 range. This is absolutely phenomenal. It's a great gin.
It almost has a whiskey characteristic to it.
You actually can't mix this like a gin. You have to mix this like a rye whiskey.
Yeah.
And so this makes a phenomenal old-fashioned if instead of cherries, you use a little bit of lime. You garnish this with a lime, and...
I think we made a cocktail.
We did. I did. I made you I made you an old-fashioned that was a gin old-fashioned out of this whiskey. Out of this gin.
It was phenomenal.
And I substitute this for gin all the time in a lot of different cocktails, and it is amazing how it transforms that cocktail into something completely different, yet something completely familiar.
Yeah.
And it is just phenomenal. So if you are a whiskey fan, you go, I kind of want to get into gin because a lot of people talk about gin, go find this. Big bottom, barrel-finished gin. It's fantastic. That's my spiel. Hashtag not sponsored. I spend my own money on liquor. Bombay Sapphire is my go-to gin. It's a fantastic gin. I typically, for a house gin, I will go Gordon's London Dry. That's what I like.
Gordon's London Dry.
That's what I like to keep on hand just for a good mixing gin. I don't pour that over the rocks, but Bombay I will pour over the rocks. There's also Vivacity from Corvallis, Oregon, that I will also drink just about any different way. It's about a $30 gin, and it's also fantastic.
Actually, the gin I like of a straight gin is actually the Ryan Reynolds Aviation Gin.
Yes.
That's actually, it's not a good mixing gin. It's actually a really good straight gin.
Straight sipper. A little bit of a lemon peel kind of flavor to it.
It's a little sweeter, a little more citrusy gin. Not very good for cocktails, but great for straight up, I want a little sipping on some gin.
Yep.
And that's actually only about $30, $32 a bottle here.
Right, it's not terrible.
No. And that's actually brewed here in Portland, Oregon.
Yep, exactly.
So.
Yep.
There's a lot of good liquor and booze here in Oregon.
Scott says whiskey can be so different. He has 14 bottles of whiskey and none of them are ryes. I have 11 bottles of whiskey and I think 5 of them are ryes.
Yeah.
I've got a Billet 95. I've also got a Billet 10-year bourbon that's in there. I've got a Rogue Stouted Thunder whiskey, which is a cask strength whiskey. I've got a couple cask strength that are in there. I've also got a Billet cask strength in there. My go-to house whiskey is a Seagram 7.
Yeah.
It's a great mixing whiskey.
Someone wanted to know on Discord if you have kvass. So it's a Russian-style homebrew, but it's made with rye bread.
I do not.
Oh yeah, it's not the greatest.
Yeah.
It's essentially it's hooch.
Right.
It's hooch with rye bread.
It's Russian hooch.
It's Russian hooch.
Yeah.
I've had kvass. Steve and I have had kvass.
Elijah Craig, reasonably priced in Canada for $46.70. Not bad. Might try it out. I guarantee you will like this. If you like whiskey, this is, like I said, the quintessential Kentucky bourbon.
Yeah, if you have that and you love whiskey drinks, you want that simple old-fashioned, the whiskey sour.
Yeah.
This is gonna put that over the top.
Right. Absolutely. Grey Goose is my first. Bombay is my second. Also good choices.
You know, it's funny. If you have a Costco that has Grey Goose, their Costco vodka is a fantastic because it's actually distilled
by Grey Goose.
By Grey Goose.
Yep.
And so you can get the Costco vodka. So I highly recommend if your Costco sells liquor around you, go get the Costco brand vodka. Compare it to Grey Goose. It is actually very good, very phenomenal. And actually, a lot of the Kirkland brand liquor is really good. I believe Elijah Craig does. Not Elijah Craig.
Buffalo Trace.
Buffalo Trace. Buffalo Trace does
the Kirkland whiskey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you can essentially get a gallon of Buffalo Trace for the price of a fifth.
Yep. Also, it's not directly Russian. It's East Slavic. So, Russian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Russian.
As I point to John.
What time period are you talking about?
Right.
It's Russian.
Right. A lot of people don't know Oregon is the largest settlement of essentially Russian immigrants in the U.S., but specifically old
believers.
Old believer Russian.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Russian-only speakers where we live.
Oh, very much.
Yeah.
Around us, the Salem, Portland area.
Yeah.
I think it's like 33%.
Yeah, I live 2 miles from an Orthodox Russian church.
Oh yeah,
which is the old like Indian spiral kind of.
Yeah,
looking
it's
thing.
got the gold spiral, the onion looking tower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah. Oh,
dun,
it's
dun,
essentially like you think of Tetris.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's there.
Right. No, I live 2 miles from one of those churches. Actually, there's one across the highway, and then there's another one just.
I live by like 3 of them.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah, trust me, we know Slavic versus Russian over here.
Yes, no. Yeah. Steve and I are actually Russian.
Yes. Yes. All right. Anyone else got anything?
Well, it can be tech. It doesn't have to be booze related.
Right.
Although we do like the booze talk. Or it can be nerd in general
just
related.
General
questions. You know, Jeff is a huge car guy. He loves talking a lot about cars too. Again, we have a Discord.
I answered a Dodge Ram question last week.
We have a whole Discord of car stuff.
Right.
So join Jeff's Discord. So, yeah. I'm just glad I won the beer challenge.
I'm actually still shocked.
That I did. I'm not.
No, it's not that I'm shocked that you produced a good beer. I'm shocked I guessed it so wrong.
Oh.
Because I had like 3 or 4 different tells that was a major brewery and that one was not.
Oh. Well, you didn't have that one yet, so.
Right.
So for all you know, the other one was going to be phenomenal.
Right.
I was just so happy that I found that beer, and it was the same percentage. I was like, and it was just a mango IPA. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it was going to be you were going to get malt liquor malt liquor versus my beer. I'm like,
right.
This is crazy.
Right. Hey, Craft Computing, cameras, go.
Don't get him started. God, the one subject that just. All right, go ahead.
That John just can't even keep up with.
I just don't even want to talk about.
Yeah. Honestly, I have nothing new to talk about with cameras. I've had the same camera since February. I absolutely love it. It's the Fuji X-T3 with a Sigma 18-35 EF mount that I have a manual aperture EF adapter for. Freaking love it. It's my A cam in every single shoot, including the camera that you're looking at right now. So what services do I host myself? Pretty much what I've given you a tutorial on, in one form or another. So if you go back and look at my tutorial videos, that's pretty much what I use at home.
Most of the stuff you've ever YouTubed is from home experience of, hey, I set this up at my home first. Right. Now I'm going to make a video about it.
Right. If I've given you a tutorial on YouTube, it's a service that I do run at home and I do know intimately well. I don't want to portray myself as an expert or even as a point of authority on something if I haven't ran it myself and know the ins and outs of it well enough to answer questions on. But pretty much, yeah, Pi-hole, Plex. I run a VPN server myself. I do run a Windows distribution server, kind of on an unofficial basis, because WDS is what I know, and so I do have a Pixie Boot Windows installation server for quickly loading up new images onto new machines. It takes me a little bit less time than some of the other YouTubers out there because, well, I grew up in IT, whereas they grew up in YouTube, so it's a little different. But trying to think of anything else that I run that I haven't listed. I run my VPN gateway. I do use that quite extensively for different things. The laptop runs through the VPN exclusively at the house.
Yeah, well, that.
So, Yeah. How is house hunting and building plans going?
For me, it's fantastic.
Yeah. John actually just closed on a property.
I did.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Jeff, tell him about your venture.
Oh, boy.
Sorry.
So we got really excited about a 1.2 acre parcel that was right in the right area that we wanted and was on 3 separate tax lots, so we could actually partition a third of an acre off of it, and we could have put in like a manufactured home and rented it out and made like 80% of our mortgage back on that property, and it was just going to be perfect. And so I was going through all of my due diligence to start working on this property, and literally the day that I called to get septic approval, I also got a notification that an offer had been placed in the house and it had gone to pending. Or on the property. Yeah, and so literally like swept out from under my feet. And the property had been on the market for over 3 years. And I was the first bite that they had had in years. And I start looking at it, and someone comes and just sweeps the rug out from under my feet. Yeah. It's like, okay, well, apparently I'm not supposed to live there. Is kind of what that equated to. Because I was probably a couple of weeks away from getting septic approval and getting a couple other things on the property rolling.
It really sounded like you were going to be. That was it.
Right.
That was the spot.
Right. It was not great. It didn't feel very good. It was kind of a kick in the balls, if I'm being honest. At the moment, our house still has not sold. We've had a couple of bites. We do know we're priced correctly for the market that we're in, and we're just kind of waiting for the right buyer to come around. It is a pretty competitive market. It is a seller's market still. But again, we live in kind of a small town, so we're just kind of waiting for the right person to come around. It is going to take slightly longer to sell than it would in like downtown Salem, but we'll get the right buyer.
You'll get, it's just a matter of patience.
Right.
I mean, mine took even longer than I expected.
Right. So it'll go. Yeah. Sneak peek into how Jeff is ruining the R7610 market. I don't think I had that much of an influence on it, but at the same time, there weren't that many R7610s for sale. Apparently, the prices inflated from about $250 to $500 in the course of a week. I apologize if you were looking for an R7610 and I have ruined that market for you. I didn't think I did. Although I ruined the market further by buying up a second one because my first one died. So if you follow me on Twitter, you know that my home cloud streaming game service server is kind of on hold because the motherboard I bought in the first server just died. I changed a setting that should have no effect on anything, and the server refuses to boot now. It just killed it. So I actually was looking for an R7610 motherboard, and those were $199. And I'm like, I literally spent $230 on the whole server. I'm not spending $200 on a board replacement.
I'm not going 100% again on this.
Right. I'll put it in a Threadripper box before I do that. I'll spend $200 on a 12-core Threadripper before I put it in another system like that. Anyway, I managed to get a second server at $199 shipped. So I have 2 R7610s now. I've taken 2 of them off the market. Yeah. I have spent way too much dang money on this server.
And this is supposed to be a cheap build.
Right. Today I learned that Steve and Hops are brothers.
What? How did you not know
Right.
that?
I think it's mentioned every single week.
Oh, yeah. And the fact that we kind of look really similar.
Honestly, from a third-party perspective, no, you don't.
Okay, you know, it's so odd because everyone, anytime we go anywhere, I guess it's more of...
I think I've met 4 of the 7, and only like 2 of you look alike.
I guess when we're all in a group, you're like, oh yeah, you're all related.
Right.
You're all related.
Right.
You know, but maybe if we're not standing next to each other...
Yeah.
Maybe that's it.
From an every 2 weeks kind of thing, you guys are completely different.
I don't know. I see Steve and I, although personality-wise, we have a very similar personality.
Right, because Steve's the oldest or second oldest?
He's third
really?
Third oldest.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was way off.
Yeah, no, there's a sister above him.
Okay, yeah, I knew there was...
The sister and a brother.
I knew there was a sister. I didn't know there was another one.
Yeah, so there's two sisters and 5 boys.
Okay.
So, and I'm the 5th boy.
Which GTA had the best story? I think GTA 5, without any question.
Wasn't that the Russian one?
No, Well, GTA 4 was great.
Whichever one had
that was Nico.
Yeah,
Nico Bellic.
That had a finale.
Yeah.
Whichever one that Lindsay Lohan sued.
That was GTA 5.
That's the best one.
No,
I know.
GTA 4 was Nico Bellic. Yeah, I gotta say GTA 5 simply for how well it was choreographed. GTA 4 still suffered from the main plot gets all of the attention, and the secondary side stories kind of get this weird, jarring camera move and blank scripted things where you're supposed to be having a conversation, and Nico just goes, "I'm sick of this," whatever, and the other guy goes, "Hey, bro, sorry, I didn't mean it like that." And so it's just like this jarring, like back and forth 90s sitcom camera choreography, and it just didn't do well. And so GTA 5, every single aspect of that story was choreographed as if it was a AAA title, and it was the first game that really was. And then Red Dead Redemption,
GTA 4 was, I think.
No, go back and look at some of the side quests. They were god awful.
Well, I think, not the side quests, but I think you're saying advertised as a AAA title. I think 4 was advertised as.
No, I said choreographed as.
I think 4 was trying to do that.
Oh, it totally was.
I don't think it maybe succeeded, but I think it tried. I think the success of 4 led into the success of, okay, I'll give you that. Then 5 would be the best. Would be the polished version of 4.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'll give you that.
Yep. So, yeah. GTA 5 overall, gosh, now you got me thinking about 4. Honestly, the story with Joey and 3 and whatnot in San Andreas was like okay, but there was so much just like legwork that didn't make any sense to the story. GTA 5, I felt like 85% of the missions that I was doing was opening up more of the character that I didn't know before. And so there was so much character progression in GTA 5 and this slow descent into the abyss for Michael, and so much redemption for Franklin, and then Trevor was just Trevor. Whereas GTA 4, I think like 30% of the story actually progressed the story forward and developed the characters a little bit more. Whereas a lot of it was just filler. It was missions I'm doing just because, or things I'm doing just because. And maybe we learn a little bit more about Frankie, or we learn a little bit more about...
Yeah, I do agree that 4 is basically more of a game and kind of more of a standalone, individual storytelling.
Right. The main missions were done very, very well, yes, but there was so much legwork in between that didn't add to anything.
I agree with
Whereas
that.
GTA 5 felt so cohesive the entire way through.
Everything felt very open no matter what you did. Yeah. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But that's where I guess, it comes back to me where I think 4 opened the door to that, and that's why I give it to 4. I love the fact of things that opened the door to things. Someone asked, though, this kind of goes back to Star Trek. Jeff, you ever watched Discovery yet? Yeah. Don't worry, you're not missing it.
I know.
You're not missing a darn thing.
So
there's maybe 3-4 good episodes.
Right, out of 25.
I think 24, yeah.
Yeah. Here's the beef I have with Discovery, and it can be summed up with one phrase. Sequel exploit.
Man.
How in God's green earth did that ever end up in a Star Trek episode? Star Trek, at the very least, could say they owned their own technology. They knew what they were talking about within their own universe. They never did these buzzwords. Sure, they'd use tachyon beam to describe whatever, but it was within the universe. All of a sudden on Star Trek Discovery, you have Archer explaining how a sequel exploit was. If we're still using sequel in 2279, for God's sake, just shoot me now.
Yeah.
Because I want to be done.
That was it. Yeah, we're getting hacked with SQL queries. I was like,
just end me now.
What?
And that right there summarizes what Discovery is for me. And it's Star Trek light. It's Star Trek for the masses, trying to appeal to the Big Bang Theory crowd of hey, we're Star Trek and we're hip and we're cool and we can do the CSI thing like anyone else can. And it's not Star Trek.
Well, yeah.
And then when the first season struggled so mightily, they brought in recognizable names of Archer and
or not Archer,
Pike and Spock. And so Spock now played by a third actor in the long running thing, but then
they introduced a new sister of Spock because that's how she is. It's like, oh, they introduced that in the first season, but it was horrible.
Right, and so it's like, guys, just stop. Just stop. Either be Star Trek or don't. And I'm really hoping Picard is Star Trek. And from everything that I've heard, it's back to its roots. It's back to the roots of Next Generation DS9 Voyager. It's... I
hope so, because I hear... Right now, it's still a 50-50 gamble, but everything online is still rumors.
Yes.
Everything we hear on Reddit and everything...
Anything you heard after the first 2 days after it was revealed that it was happening and that 7 of 9 was returning, basically anything that you've heard after the trailer is speculation from media.
Yeah, I mean, but...
There was a YouTube video that was 11 minutes long that was posted that Worf is making a return to Star Trek Picard. Michael Dorn was seen on set for 1 day.
Yeah.
That could have just been, hey, I'm in Los Angeles, I thought I'd drop by. It could have been that. It could have been Michael Dorn is reprising Worf. We don't know.
Don't know.
But the point is we don't know.
How long has he been sitting there saying, Captain Worf is coming. Let's make a push for Captain Worf. Although I would have loved a Captain Worf. Not saying you constantly do the argument of, there already
perhaps today is a good day to die.
There already was a Captain Worf. No, but...
He was a lieutenant commander, technically captain because he was in charge of the Defiant.
Yes, that's your argument. I would still love a Captain Worf series. I would love it. I would love to see what was the ship that Riker took over.
Oh, the
I think it started with a G.
No. We never got to see it.
But yeah, no, we never got to see it. Well, they have a image of the style of ship. But it's Titan, yeah. Will Wheaton goes on it. What's her face? Not Crusher.
Troy.
Troy goes on because she's married to him.
Yep.
So yeah, Will Wheaton becomes the night crew chief engineer.
Yeah.
So I'd love to even see a series of that. Even him as an older captain, kind of retiring. That would be a good series.
We do know that William Frakes is directing episodes 3 and 4 of Star Trek Picard.
And apparently...
And he is reprising his role as Riker.
Yes. We do know at least like 1/3 of the cast is reprising their role.
Skull, I beat you to it. Just gonna say. He's a Titan.
Oh, yeah.
So, I beat you to it.
So, that'll be... I really... I love the nostalgia that it sounds like they're bringing back. Just hope. There are certain parts of the trailer I'm like, that's not Star Trek. That's not Star Trek. That's not Star Trek. You know, that's Discovery. That's modern. I almost want it to be the series. I know it's probably only like 10 episodes, the first season.
Yes.
And I really wanted 5 episodes, 1 story, 5 episodes. I'd love for that.
Yes.
I love them to split the season up into just 2 main stories.
To more just an overarching story rather than...
Yes.
You know, DS9 style rather than TNG style.
Yes. I'd love... Okay, here's... Fuck, screw you. I got really close to saying one of those words earlier on that we said we don't say.
We're going to reverse to George Carlin now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways. Oh, have you...
All about full.
Did you watch the biography of the DS9 biography yet?
I have not seen it yet.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Is it?
It's really good.
I hoped it would be.
It's
what
really,
we left behind.
What we left behind. The only problem I had with it is so apparently it was shot 2 years apart.
Yeah.
The second part of it is, I forget the director's name, but he goes and gets the original writers and everything in a room, and then they go and animate what would be the first episode of that part. Is horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Completely horrible. Of like all your favorite characters and everything they do to them, like that's
right.
Big middle finger, essentially, what they give to it.
Thank you for not giving us a season 8 DS9.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Like it's big middle finger. So
DS9 should have ended at the end of season 6. They gave us season 9, and we went, okay, I can kind of take Ezri Dax. I can kind of take this. Okay, you're wrapping things up with a great big bow. I'll accept it, but it's not my favorite.
It's not my favorite, yes. But as far as the cast talking about the show and the revelations of everything, 85% of it was fantastic. There are, that's stupid, that's boring, I don't care about that. Mm-hmm. You're really pulling at strings here, saying you're this revelation of, we brought this into the 90s.
Yep.
Nah, you didn't. No one cared about you. in that sense. But most of it, if you can find it, highly, highly recommend. If you're a Star Trek fan, go and watch it. I've been binge watching, actually, religiously TNG. I'll probably even go into a couple seasons of DS9.
You got to finish DS9. Actually, I think you got to go into Voyager because I think Voyager's going to have a lot to do with Picard.
I'm prepping for Picard, yeah.
Yeah.
So
anyway, producer is telling us it's probably time for bed. So this has been episode 97 of Talking Heads, your once weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Pacific time, if I can remember what time zone I'm in.
Yep.
8 p.m. Pacific, and catch us every week. Make sure to follow John at Hops and Brews on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube.
Whatever.
Tinder.
Yeah, that's the one I'm really lonely at. That's
Right.
I'm lacking.
We're kidding. He's an old married man. Follow me at Craft Computing on Twitter and YouTube. And keep up with daily shenanigans or any news, any frustrations or revelations that I've had throughout the day, like Windows updates hitting at 7:15 p.m. on a Wednesday night, when that is literally the one time every single week that I'm using this computer for the last 97 straight weeks. Yeah, so join in with that. Anyway, join us next week. Rhett is back on the show, and I'm sure we will have more beer and tech news then. So,
that count? You should really make that have a count for the rant.
Oh, the rant counter?
The rant counter.
I could probably configure something.
That would be awesome.
So, we'll see what we can do. Anyway, night all. We will see you next week.
See you guys.